There it is. Graphic scenes. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to wait for some people to show up just to say that we're good. Gonna let that simmer for a minute. Gotta let it brew. Do you ever look at the internet and be like, but why though? Because that's how I be sometimes. Okay. I may have stalled long enough. Wanted to give everybody a 5-minute head start just to make sure everybody's good, but I think we're set. So, we already have a selection. And honestly, if she's making breakfast anyway, I'd rather do that than do my daily tasks. Right, I need to help Sakura. Making someone younger than me do all the work would be embarrassing. And I feel bad for Sakura coming here so early in the morning. But I'm too late. Breakfast looks to be done already. The appetizing scent of the breakfast Sakura cooked wafts towards me from the kitchen. Sakura finished cooking, and she's also searching the cupboards for dishes. Sorry, can I at least serve everything? So go and... I can at least serve everything, so go and sit down. Wasn't exactly quick. It's already 10 past 6, and that's when we're usually eating breakfast, so yeah, I overslept. Clubs have nothing to do with it. And if they do, you coming by in the mornings must be a lot of trouble since you do have morning practice. Yeah, you keep saying that, which is why I wake up early. Club or no, if you're coming by, it'd be rude to still be asleep. To me, waking up early is waking up before Sakura gets here, and oversleeping means I make Sakura prepare breakfast on her own like today. Though this arrangement started only about 1.5 years ago. You sit, Sakura. The food just needs to be plated and set on the table, so at least let me do that. I stand next to Sakura and pull out the dishes. Sakura has a surprisingly stubborn side, so she won't rest unless I really push. No, I'm saying I'll do it all by myself. Damn. Act all important. I wouldn't be much of a head of the house if I made you do all the work while I sit back, now would I? Come on, go and sit in the sitting room, Sakura. We split the cost of groceries, so you shouldn't worry about that. In fact, I'm the one who should be thanking you. Ever since you started coming by, I've been eating a lot better. Huh? What do you mean? What? That's a weird thing to say. What if Fujine heard that? She doesn't get sarcastic jokes. Right, so don't say stuff like that. Sakura looks me in the eyes so naturally and calmly. Fine, do what you want. If you want to so badly, I'll have you do everything. Honestly, you don't listen to anything I tell you anymore, Sakura. She responds softly as she reaches towards the cupboard. Her dark hair gently falls over her shoulder, and the curves of her body catch my eye. I can't explain it, but it's awkward. I'm not sure if it's our age, but Sakura's been looking more feminine lately. Her casual movements or her profile are so pretty, and I inadvertently avert my eyes. No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Honestly, it's baffling. Why in the hell am I getting nervous around my friend's younger sister? Sakura is just a really good and considerate younger friend of mine, and she's someone I need to look after. She's the younger sister of a friend of mine. We used to be friendly, though initially we weren't very close since she's a grade below me. It was only a year and a half ago that our relationship became more of what it is now. Sakura started to come and cook meals for me when I got hurt, and things kind of stayed like that. I think this arrangement was supposed to last until I got better, but I guess something or other happened, and somehow she ended up helping out with household chores. Either way, Sakura is a good cook, and her cleaning and laundry skills are perfect. Having her come early in the morning is a big help, but it's been disconcerting recently. Sakura isn't the problem, it's me. I'm sure being flustered by my friend's sister is part of the reason I feel guilty. Usually I'm unfazed, but when I blush because I get caught off guard like now, I wonder whether it's problematic as her senpai. Breakfast is lined up neatly on the table. And I got pinged by something. Yeah, that one's me. Is there another one? No? Okay. A perfectly balanced meal of chicken with parsley salad, grilled salmon, blanched spinach, miso soup with radish and carrots, and grated yam soup. Sakura and I sit down and bow and begin our meal in silence. The gentle tapping of chopsticks is the only sound in the room. Sakura isn't typically talkative, and I hardly have anything to chat about during meals. So we eat in silence. Normally it's much rowdier than this, but the person who usually causes the commotion must have watched a spy movie or something last night because she's eyeing the two of us through a newspaper she propped up in front of her food. Sakura remarks diffidently, but Fujine ignores her. Fujine is acting weird. But her being weird at breakfast isn't really all that weird for her. Sakura is used to it too, and she's eating as if nothing is the matter. Sakura typically cooks up Western meals, or Western dishes, same thing. She really only began learning to cook Japanese dishes since she started coming here to help me out. Sakura learned to cook simple Japanese dishes, at least for breakfast, because Fujine and I prefer them. Now Sakura's cooking skills have improved to the point she's better than me, and I'm the one who was teaching her. Her miso soup is flavorful and refined now. She's even gotten to the point where she can grate yams to make yam soup. Actually, I think today's the first time she served yam soup. Sorry, Sakura, could you pass the soy sauce? Then I can use Fujine's. Pass it over. And the answer is probably. Fujine nods. The newspaper shuffles. Yeah, everyone puts soy sauce on grated yams. A line of soy sauce streams from the bottle to the grated white mound. I stir the mixture up, pour it over my rice, and take a bite. The stickiness of the grated yam combined with the intense flavor of the soy sauce. What the? This isn't soy sauce. It's It's oyster sauce. Fujine tosses her newspaper onto the table with an enthusiastic flick of her wrists. Killer. Oh. The not-so-mysterious spy punches the air in victory. Who pulls a stunt like that first thing in the morning? You're going to turn 25 this year when you're still the same childish Fujine I've always known. People can't enact divine justice. I knew you were weirdly quiet. I can't believe you've been plotting this since yesterday. You have entirely too much free time on your hands. Fujine sits back down and shovels her breakfast into her mouth. And off she goes, stomping out in a rush. There's something terribly wrong with a world that allows someone like her to be a teacher. Sorry that Fujine hardly savored the breakfast you took so much time and work into making. This is just a life lesson. Don't fuck with people's meals. That is the most effed up thing you can do. Not only does it ruin their meal, but now you've got somebody who's hungry and pissed off. Don't do it. I'd murder you. Well, I accidentally called her by her nickname. Sorry, I forgot. But only because that kind of stuff happens all the time. Not only did I make her cry, she also ran away like a scared rabbit. And thanks to that incident, yesterday's English class ended up being a study hall. In fact, everyone in class worked together to make an award for me from their notebook paper because of that. I threw it away, obviously. Fujine is like an older sister to Sakura, so she's typically on Fujine's side. Which is fine on its own, but I wish she would consider the fact that I have to deal with Fujine all day long. Fujine was originally an acquaintance of my old man, and she swung by the house pretty frequently since I was adopted. She kept on coming over even after my old man died, and now she acts like a freeloader, eating breakfast and dinner every day. Actually, I might have been thanks to Fujine that I was able to make it on my own after my old man died. And now it's me, Fujine, and Sakura who are residents of this Emiya house. But at the same time, I'm the only one who wonders what my old man was... I'm the only one who knows that my old man was a mage. They say mages have to keep that part of their lives secret. Which is why I've also been hiding from others that I'm learning magecraft after I became old man's apprentice. Learning may be a bit of a stretch, really, since I can barely use magecraft properly. So it wouldn't make much of a difference whether I hid magecraft or not, but since it's my old man's dying wish, I've been training in secret. I finish breakfast and get ready for school. I put away the dishes with Sakura as I listen to the news on the TV in the background. Sakura is looking blankly at the TV. A flashy caption reading, "Ghastly Continue," pops up on the screen. There seems to have been a big accident in the neighboring city of Shinto. It happened in a building in a business district. Apparently, everyone on one of the floors lost consciousness from oxygen deprivation. Authorities have been calling it an accident resulting from gas leaks, but for some reason, these incidents have been happening often. Are you worried about the incident, Sakura?
いえ、別に。ただ、事故が新都で起きているなら近いなって。先輩、新都の方でアルバイトしていますよね。
I kind of forgot he had a part-time job, to be honest, but it does make sense. Yeah, but the shop's not that big. I don't think an accident like that would happen there. But I can't entirely ignore the idea either. Gas leaks can happen in any building, and it especially pains me to think that hundreds of people have fallen victim. Some say these accidents are happening because of faulty construction work done during the rapid development projects in Shinto. Either way, I hope there won't be any more victims. It's a disturbing story. We need to be careful too.
あ、それならご心配なく先輩。ガスの元栓はいつも2回チェックしてますから安心です。
Sakura proudly proclaims. No, that's not my point. Yep, I've always known Sakura was a little off too. I bolted it. Is that a problem? I think I'll be home a little late. What about you, Sakura? Yeah, that'll be great. I'll try to come home as soon as possible, too. The gate is locked tight. Sakura and Fujine both have keys to the house. And the rule is that whoever leaves last is in charge of locking everything up. Let's go. You'll be late for morning practice if you don't hurry. Sakura and I walk into town. We walk downhill along the long wall to reach a more populated residential area. The Emiya house is located on top of a hill, away from the center of town. Heading down the hill leads us to the residential area. Going further down, we reach the intersection at the center of town. Several roads lead out from the center of town. There's a large bridge that connects into the neighboring town. A hill that leads to Ryudo Temple. A residential area located opposite my house. A shopping district that both Sakura and I often go to. And finally, there's a path that leads to our school. We head straight to school without taking any detours. It's barely 7 o'clock, so there's hardly anyone around. Students making their way to morning club activities are the only ones to be found along their route. See you later. Good luck at practice. I see Sakura off at the school gate as usual. Sakura's in the Kyudo club, so this is where we usually split off. And yet, Sakura doesn't budge this morning. Sakura, are you not feeling well or something? Well, I don't really have any business at the dojo. Besides, Issei asked me to do something, so I need to go to the student council room. Sakura quickly bows her head. Hmm? Sakura runs towards the dojo, seeming almost apologetic. What was that? I wonder what that was all about. Issei, are you in? I'm here. There we go. I need to pause. Just give it a moment to breathe. Issei glances up from his desk, looking like he's been studying some papers. Is it just you, Issei? Where's the rest? They should all be at school by now. So that's why the student council president is doing busy work himself. Guess you've got your own problems to deal with. What are you talking about? I'm not sympathizing with you. Issei, who is gathering his papers into a single sheaf and tapping the edge against the table to square them neatly, is the big boss of the student council. He's been working to reform the student council, which has grown quite lax. And he's been a friend of mine since our first year in school. His full name is Issei Ryudo. Despite his old-fashioned sounding name, he has elegant facial features and he's popular with the girls. He's also the student council president. So you'd think we would have a leg up on everyone else, but that's not exactly the case. I don't think it needs to be scalding. I see. It's saying stuff like that as he sips tea that prevents him from quite sticking the landing. As evidenced, Issei is quite plain. He's prone to be misunderstood, yet he neither dabbles in relationships nor does he does what typical students do for fun. Got it. That was a very strangely worded sentence, but sure. He's the heir of Ryudo Temple, which sits atop a mountain. He himself understands that he will inherit the temple, and there's a strong possibility that he'll have to shave his head without so much as a complaint as soon as he graduates from school. So what do you want me to do today? No. I know. The athletic clubs are favored and there's not so much money to go around in other places. I would hope you do. I see. Hey, hand me that flathead screwdriver, the biggest one. Oh, and give me some conductors too. Yeah, this one looks salvageable. It's fine, you got it right. So what about the lack of heaters? Is there anything else that's broken? And you're saying that there's no room in the budget. Well, this one's just corroded. Good thing the inside's still intact. Yeah, I can fix it. It's a good thing old machines are easy to figure out. True story. Old machines are easy to figure out because they're old and they use very few parts. The wires just burnt out, so as long as those get replaced, this should last until the end of the year.
そうか。やるなエミヤ。お前が頼りになると極めて嬉しいぞ。
You say some weird stuff, Issei. Oh hey, I'm almost done. So go ahead and step out.
エミヤの邪魔はせん。
Issei quietly steps out of the classroom. He might be thinking I'm going to start some sensitive work. Well, I guess you can call it sensitive work. I put my hand to the old electric stove. No matter how long someone's been fixing things, they can't usually figure out what's wrong by sight. So the fact that I can means that what I'm doing is not ordinary. I close my eyes and look inside the stove by touch. And then suddenly, a single image pops into my head. There are two places where wires are about to break. The electrical pipe should last a little bit longer. The power cord should be fine with just insulation tape. Good. I should be able to fix it with just the tools I brought along. If the electrical pipes are broken, I wouldn't be fixable by an amateur. Had that been the case, certain strengthening would have to be done, which no amateur could manage, but I should be able to fix this one by sight. This is the magecraft Kiritsugu taught me. Okay, let's begin. I take off the cover to begin my repairs. I already know where it's broken, so the rest of the work is easy. This is the one thing I'm good at. That's right, I, Shiro Emiya, have absolutely no talent in magecraft. But for some reason, I have a knack for visualizing the structure of things, or blueprints, like I did just now. My old man once saw me imagine and recreate a blueprint. He looked surprised, then muttered, "What a useless talent." My special talent appears to be pointless. According to my old man, the fact that I can visualize object structures isn't really helpful. A mage normally wouldn't need to survey an object's entire structure like I do. He claims the mage's struggle is to instantly seek out an object's center, or its core, and transform it as quickly as possible. That's why reading blueprints is a waste of time, and even that only helps seek out areas for magical energy to pass through. And so fixing broken stuff is one of the only things I'm good at. After all, I don't have to open the entire thing up to find the problem. If I can find the problem quickly, I can fix most things as long as I have the know-how to repair it. I only do that with things that an amateur could reasonably expected to fix. Okay, done. What's next? I put away the conductors, pick up the screwdriver and wrench, and head out into the hallway. Issei repairs are done. Oh, hey. A female student is standing next to Issei in the hallway. I'm a little surprised. The girl talking to Issei is Ren Tosaka, a second year from Class A. She lives in a giant Western-style mansion up on a big hill, and she's an extraordinary honor student. She's pretty, smart, athletic, no flaws at all. She's intelligent and polite. She never brags about her looks. She's truly the ideal girl to guys, apparently. Which is why the male students treat her like an idol. But Tosaka is just too good, and she's become unattainable. The guys all say the only people who can talk to Tosaka are Issei and the teachers. Well, okay, I'm also a guy. And I'm including myself on the list of her admirers. Tosaka is looking at us, annoyed. I guess rumors are true that Issei and Tosaka don't get along. Whoa. Issei's pretty gutsy talking to me and completely ignoring Tosaka like that. Don't worry about it. So what's next? There's not much time. If it's dead, I won't be able to fix it. It might be better to buy a new one.
そうなんだが、一応見てくれると助かる。俺から見れば臨終だが、お前から見れば仮病かもしれん。
You think so? Then let me take a look. There's only about 30 minutes until homeroom starts. I'll need to hurry and fix it or I'll run out of time. I head to the audiovisual room, but I realize completely ignoring Tasaka would be rude. I turn to face her since she's been standing there the whole time. You're here early, Tasaka. I blurt out the first thing that comes to mind and then follow Issei.
ギリギリ間に合ったか。すまんなエミヤ。また苦労をかけた。頼み事をした上に遅刻させては友人失格だ。
It's like you said, I arrived just on time. I'm good. Don't sweat it. It won't be a problem if I'm late. Where it might be an issue if you were late.
もっともだ。いや、間に合ってよかった。
Issei exhales a sigh of relief and heads to his desk. It's exactly 8 o'clock. 5 minutes after the bell for homeroom rings, Fujine will enter the classroom. Phew! My breathing is labored since I ran from the audiovisual room. I take a deep breath before I take my seat.
朝から騒がしいねエミヤ。部活を辞めてから何をしてるかと思えば、竜道の太鼓持ち？僕には関係ないけどさ。うちの評判を落とすようなことはしないでよね。君、なんていうか、節操ないからさ。
Standing in front of my desk is Shinji Matao. He's been a friend of mine since middle school. His last name is Matao, and he's Sakura's older brother. He's 1 year older than her. Yo, things at the Kyoto Club went well, Shinji?
当然だろう。部外者に話してもしょうがないけど、目立ちたがり屋が一人減ったんで平和になったんだ。次の大会だっていいところまで行くさ。
Is that so? I guess Mitsuzuri is working real hard.
はあ？何見当違いなこと言ってんの？弓道部が記録を伸ばしてるのは僕がいるからに決まってるじゃんか。エミはさ、とっくに部外者なんだから、知ったような口を叩くと恥をかくよ。
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Besides, I'm not involved with the club, so I won't really concern myself with it much. I put my bag on my desk and pulled the chair back.
何それ？僕の弓道部には興味がないってこと？
I'm not saying that. Just that I'm not involved in... Wait. Just saying I'm not involved in all. I'm not part of the club anymore, so it's not right for me to just drop by into the dojo. But if there's anything you need, just let me know. I'll help whenever you need it. I remember you weren't good at fixing and stringing bows.
そう、サンキュー。何か雑用があったら声をかけるよ。ま、そんなことはないだろうけどさ。
Well, that's good. A captain who leaves busy work behind wouldn't be much of a captain. Just try not to trouble Miss Fujimura. She's terrifying if she gets mad.
余計なお世話だ。ともかくお前はもう部外者なんだから、道場に近づくなよ。
And just like that, Shinji heads off to his seat. All self-important bluster, as ever. Huh. He does seem moodier than usual.
ふざけたやつだ。自分からエミヤを追い出しておいて、よくもあんな口が聞ける。
Oh, Issei. Were you there the whole time?
なんだとはなんだ。気を利かして聞き耳を立てていた友人に向かって、なんと冷淡な男だお前は。
Huh. What does concern have to do with it? I haven't done anything worth worrying about.
たわけ、心配もするわ。エミヤはカッとなりやすいからな。真珠に殴りかかれば、皆は喝采を送るが、女どもからは非難の嵐だ。友人をそんな微妙な立場に置くのはよろしくない。
I get it. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Issei. I don't think that would ever happen, but I appreciate the concern.
わかればよろしい。だが意外だったぞ。エミヤは怒りやすいくせにマトウには寛大なんだな。
Yeah, but Shinji's been like that for as long as I've known him. You get used to it.
そんなものか。
It is. Now come on. Go back to your desk if you're satisfied. It's almost time for Miss Fujimura to dash in.
あの方は飛んでくるというより浮いてくるという感じだかな。
The bell to start homeroom rings. Normally, the homeroom teacher comes into the classroom 5 minutes before homeroom starts, but our teacher isn't what you'd call typical. Homeroom for Class 2C typically starts 1 minute after the starting bell. In other words, homeroom starts with the sound of Fujine's shouts and hurried footsteps. Gonk. Fujine tumbles and I hear some kind of unnatural sound. Contrary to the hectic sounds of a few seconds earlier, the classroom is now dead silent. The mood shifts sharply. It's no wonder Fujine is called a human roller coaster. But honestly, the way she fell didn't seem like a laughing matter. Fujine hit her head against the podium and she's still lying on the floor. Seeing her lying there, face down and unmoving, has everyone imagining the worst. The students in the front rows start to get rowdy. Those of us sitting in the middle rows can't see what's going on. So we all stand up to get a look. Someone brings up the obvious. But the problem is, how would we get Fujine to the infirmary? We're all like comrades in arms after our time dealing with Fujine. Probably no one's thrilled by the idea of taking a teacher to the infirmary. A brave girl approaches. Fujine isn't moving. The class grows more concerned. My lights just flashed, so I'm keeping an eye. Just in case power goes out for some stupid reason, you'll know why. Everyone's on the same page. Except Shinji and I, we keep quiet because the two of us dared not be a part of what was about to happen. It comes out of whispering, even with so many students speak it in unison. The word tiger is especially inaudible. And yet, twitch. Fujine's previously motionless body reacts. Everyone must be on edge since midterm tests are approaching. It's a terrible idea on their part, but some students start to wave their arms and chant Fujine's nickname.
起きろタイガー、朝だぞ。
先生、起きないとタイガーです。
負けるなタイガー、立ち上がれタイガー。よーし、起きろ先生、それでこそタイガーだぜ。
タイガー、タイガー、タイガー、タイガー、タイガー、タイガー。ガー、タイガーって言うな。
Like a sudden bolt of lightning striking, Fujine stands valiantly as if the fall hardly scratched her.
あれ、みんな何してるの？ダメよ、ホームルーム中に席を立っちゃ。ほらほら、始めるから座りなさい。
Fujine, back to her normal self, stands at the podium. It appears she recalled nothing between the time she jumped into the classroom and the time she woke up.
おい、タイガー覚えてないみたいだぞ。ラッキー、朝からついてるな俺たち。いや、ついてるっていうのかな、こういうの。
The students shuffle back to their desks.
今誰か先生のことバカにしなかった？
え、してないっすよ。気のせいじゃないっすか。
そっか、ならよし。じゃあ今朝のホームルームを始めるからみんなおとなしく聞くように。
Fujine casually starts homeroom. She always goes on digressions between announcements, so it goes slowly.
そういうわけだからみんなも下校時刻を守るように。門限は6時だから部活の子たちも長居しちゃダメよ。
6時って言ったらすぐじゃんか。タイガ先生、それって運動系は免除されないの？
He fucked up. You done fucked up.
されません。それと後藤君、先生のことは藤村先生って言わなくちゃダメなんだから、次に名前で呼んだら怒るからね。
はーい、以後注意します。
Goto sits back down. He doesn't seem particularly remorseful. Too easy. When Fujine gets mad, she gets mad. Doesn't matter if it's with a teacher or a student. And that is as close to a serious warning as she's ever going to give. But Goto doesn't realize it.
それじゃあ今日のホームルームはここまで。みんな3次元目の英語で会おうね。
Fujine waves and leaves. So that was Taiga Fujimura, the teacher for Room 2C. Her nickname, Tiger. That might seem like a joke, but it isn't. She got the nickname because it sounds like her name, Taiga, but Fujine hates it. According to her, it doesn't sound feminine. But she's got the nickname because of how she acts, so she kinda had it coming.
授業を始める。日直礼を。
As Fujine exits the room, the first period teacher enters. Because Fujine takes up almost all the homeroom time, mornings are always like this for our class. And so another day of classes ends. There are many types of students. Some immerse themselves in club activities, some hurry home, and some hang out in the classroom after class for no particular reason. I don't really fit into any of those categories.
すまない。ちょっといいかエミヤ。今朝の続きなんだが、今日は時間あるか。
Well, it's not like I don't have any plans. It's not as if I don't do anything at all. The biggest reason I quit the Kyoto club in the first place is that I wanted to prioritize my part-time job. It's been 5 years since I started part-time jobs to earn money for a living expenses of my own after my old man died. And when you do so many jobs, there are some requests you just can't say no to. Today is one of them. I was asked to help restock some products for a bar, since they wanted as many strong helping hands as they could get. Though I'm sure I don't have to go help, the bar is likely asking everyone as an excuse to gather some folks and hang out afterward. there are two options. I should... Shit. My flowchart! Yes, I got that. Show me the flowchart. I got my Sakura plus points. Anybody in the peanut gallery? I am willing to take suggestions. This is probably the only time you're going to get a chance to pick a route in the story. I will hold for a few seconds. There are no wrong answers. I feel like the answer should be do the part-time job. I already helped the student council in the morning, so I'm going to go that route. That's my thought. I feel bad for Issei, but I should probably prioritize my part-time job. I never promised I would go, but since I said I'd try, I should probably keep my word. Sorry, Issei, I have plans already. So can I get a rain check on this morning's tasks?
戦略？ああ、例のアルバイトか。そうか、それは困らせたな。こちらは今日明日で身体が決まるものでもない。俺の頼みなど気にせず、労働に励んでくれ。
Thanks. I'll get back to those tasks first thing in the morning. So please let me off the hook this time.
ん？そこまで深刻な話でもないと言っただろう。急を要していたものは今朝で片付いた。残った修理品はエミヤの手が空いた時で構わんさ。
That was my thought. It's like we got the urgent stuff done. If you say so. Is it okay if I pick up where I left off whenever I don't have work?
しさいない。その時はまた頼りにするぞ、エミヤ。
Issei bids a stiff farewell and leaves the classroom. Okay then. I shouldn't dawdle. I may not have been given a specific time, but now that I've decided to go to my part-time job, I need to hurry over to the neighboring town. Jeez, I thought I was going to help out just a little. They gave me 30,000 yen. It's like an unexpected windfall or a stroke of good luck. Copenhagen, where I work today, is like a bar and supermarket that sells liquor all in one. And it takes a lot of people to restock inventory for this place. It's a job that needs at least 5 people, but the more people you have after that makes everyone's life easier. Yet, the boss is always like... He mentioned it so casually to part-time workers and seemed to think it was enough. But I'm the only one who showed up. The only people there for inventory were me, the boss, and Neko, his daughter. All hell broke loose. Neko was scolding the boss. Yet I was the only fool who came, ready to be sacrificed. The two of them unenthusiastically applauded when I showed up, and then we all decided to organize the storage room as much as possible. And then... we somehow finished the inventory in 2 hours. The boss remarks as he eats a brownie cake and surveys the afternoon's work. Not exactly. I'm just used to manual labor. I've been working here long enough that I know where most things go in the storage room. I haven't been working here since I was younger for nothing, you know.
あ、そっか。あれ、シロ君ってもう5年だっけ？
Something like that. You're one of the only places that hired me soon after my old man died.
いやいや、まあ、僕も年を取るわけだ。
The moss stuffs his mouth with rum cake. Next to him, Neko is nursing a bottle of warm sake. The owner has a sweet tooth, while the daughter's a drinker of the family. They sure balance each other well. And
けど助かったわ。こんだけやってもらって、おだちんがケーキだけっていうのもあれだし。はい、これ僕からの気持ち。
he waves 3 10,000 yen bills at me. It's more than I get for a week's worth of labor, not 3 hours. Oh, thanks. I hesitate, but I take whatever I can get. Just as I'm about to leave Copenhagen,
ちょい待ち。エミヤ、今日の話誰から聞いた？
Neko stops me while she's curled up in front of a heater, resting. I think it was Furumi?
学生に自分の仕事を押し付けるんじゃないってのよ。あのバカ。まあそれはいいとして。何？じゃあ今日の棚卸し、また聞きだったのに来たんだ。
Well, I was told to help if I wasn't busy.
フルミもバカだけど、エミヤンもおバカさ。
Do you want the help or not, lady?
まあいいけど。君さ、人の頼みを断ったことないでしょ。前に私と父が風邪で寝込んだ時も店番してくれたし。
Huh? That's not true. I won't do things for people when I know I can't. I only do things I know I'm able to.
あの時、君も風邪ひいてたんだけどね。まあいいけど。私が何を言いたいかっていうとですね、エミヤンはいいやつで、ちょっとバカで、そのあたり、私は心配なので、今度藤村に、ちょっとは顔出せやこら、と伝えておいてほしいのです。
Neko makes circles with her fingers in the air as she downs her sake. She seems to think I'm a dragonfly or something. Okay, so just tell Fujine that?
そう。じゃあね。あんまし頑張りすぎんなよ、少年。
Well, I've already crossed the bridge. I managed to walk back to the neighboring Shinto to Miyama without realizing. I walked through the still darkened town. It's about 7:30. There should still be people out and about this hour, but there's no signs of anyone around. Oh, right. There was a crime committed in Miyama the other day. A burglar murdered someone, I think. It must be why there's no one around, and why the school curfew has been set to 6 o'clock. Gas leaks and burglars, huh? Seems like it's getting dangerous around here. No wonder people are avoiding walking around at night. Probably not safe to let Sakura go home on her own anymore. Fujine might be fine, but Sakura's house is in a residential area on the other side of town. Guess I should walk her home starting tonight. Huh? I can't quite believe what I'm seeing. I must be wrong. I sense a presence on the uphill path and was sure it was empty. Whoever it is, they're standing still and look to be peering down at me. I unconsciously hold my breath. A girl with silvery hair smiles and walks down the path without making a sound. And as she passes by,
早く呼び出さないと死んじゃうよ、お兄ちゃん。
what she says makes no sense. I climb up the hill and reach my house. The lights are already on, which means Sakura and Fujine are home. The moment I step into the living room, I smell the delicious aroma of dinner. Sakura and Fujine are both eating at the table. tonight's meal is chicken stewed in cream sauce, and it's put Fujine in an especially good mood.
おかえりなさい先輩。お先に失礼していますね。
Shit! Thanks, and sorry for being late. I should have come home earlier.
いいです。ちゃんと間に合いましたから。ちょっと待っててくださいね。すぐ用意しますから。
Okay, thanks. I'll go wash up and keep an eye on Fujine to make sure she doesn't eat my portion.
はい。きちんと見張っています。
I go to my room. It's a sparse room compared to the storehouse, but it's still decorated enough, considering I don't have any particular hobbies. Though most of them are random things Fujine just left there. After I wash my hands and change, I head back to see my food on the table. Thank you for the meal.
はい。お口に合えばいいんですけど。
Itadakimasu. Sakura is humble as ever. Sakura's cooking skills have vastly improved over the past year. My cooking is no match for her Western foods. My Japanese dishes might be a little better. Neither of us is any good at making Chinese dishes. I'm glad to know she's improving, but it's also a little depressing when the pupil's surpassing her master. It really is delicious. The longer you cook chicken, the tougher the meat gets. Which is why you need to take the extra step of grilling the chicken to a crisp to seal the juices and the flavor. It requires exceptional skill and something a little clumsy Fujine would never be able to manage.
どうでしょうか先輩。今日のはうまくいったと思うんですけど。
No complaints here. The cream sauce is perfect. My cooking can't hold a candle to your Western dishes.
さくらちゃんがご飯作ってくれるようになってからお肉関係が美味しくなった。
Fujine, who's been concentrating on her meal until now, pipes up.
あ、ダメよシロ。学生がこんな洋服に帰ってきちゃいけないんだから。
Ah! She looked to be in good spirits thanks to Sakura's meal, but the moment she sees my face, her mood turns sour.
もうまた誰かの手伝いをしてたんでしょう。それはそれでいいことだけど、こんな時ぐらいは早く帰ってきなさい。最近物騒だぞってホームルームで言ったじゃない。あれ、シロに対して言ったんだからね。
You really don't need to make a homeroom announcement for something you can just tell me at home.
ここで言っても聞かないもの。学校でガツンと言った方がシロには効果的なんだもん。
That's not necessarily true either.
先生、それは職権乱用というか、公私混同だと思います。それぐらいしないとシロはダメなのよ。いつも人の手伝いばっかりして損してるからさ。たまにはまっすぐ帰ってきてのんびりしててもいいじゃない、バカチン。
I don't see how helping people makes me an idiot, but alright, sure. Huh? Who are you calling an idiot? What's wrong with it? Alright, the game read me. I fully admit that. The game fucking read me. Alright. Who are you calling an idiot? What's wrong with helping people? I'm not losing out on anything as long as someone benefits from my help.
キリツグさんに似たのかな。シロがそんなんじゃお姉ちゃん心配だよ。
Seeing Fujine eating so heartily makes me wonder what exactly she's worried about.
内村先生、今の話からすると先輩って昔からそうなんですか？うん、昔からそうなの。なんか困ってる人がいたら自分から手を出しちゃうタイプ。けどおせっかいってわけじゃなくて、シロはね、単におませさんなのだ。
Fujine grins menacingly. Fujine, I'm going to get mad if you say anything you shouldn't. And you shouldn't ask such silly questions, Sakura. I glare at the two. Fujine clicks her tongue in disapproval, but...
藤村先生、お話を続けてください。
Okay, just ignore me. Sakura presses on, like an attentive student.
じゃあ話しちゃおう。これがね、シロは困った人を放っておけない性格なのよ。弱きを助け強きをくじくってやつ。子供の頃の作文なんてね、僕の夢は正義の味方になることですだったんだから。
Quit bringing up the past, Fujine. I can't really jump in, though, because it's true. Besides, becoming a hero of justice is still my goal.
すごい言葉だったんですね、先輩。
すごかったよ。年上の男の子にいじめられてる女の子がいたら助けに入ってくれたし、桐次さんが武将だったから家事だって一生懸命こなしてたし。ああ、あの頃は可愛くて純真だったのに、それがどうしてこんなひねくれた子になっちゃったんだろうな。
That's on you, Fujine. That's what happens when children, when they have bad role models. And if you want to say something to that, try making an entire meal on your own. Fujine is shocked. I thought she would just lower her head and repent, but...
お姉ちゃんは悲しいよ。さくらちゃん、おかわり。
She holds out her rice bowl, asking for a third helping of dinner. We relax after dinner. It's almost 9 o'clock. Well, what should I do? There's still some time before my evening training. I guess I'll... Fuck! Okay, listen. We just talked about this, how it's dangerous out there at night. Also, this flowchart's gonna go fucking insane. This flowchart's gonna go insane. I hate it. I have to make sure she gets home. I haven't thanked Sakura for cooking dinner yet, so I should talk to Sakura. It's getting late, so I should walk her home. Sakura just finished cleaning up, and she's in the living room getting ready for go home.
あれ、先輩、お風呂に入ってたんじゃないんですか？
I'll take my bath later after I walk you home.
送るって私をですか？
Yeah, it's been dangerous at night lately, so I'll walk you home. Your house is a pretty long walk, so let me at least do this, since you go out of your way to come here. Sakura purses her lips awkwardly. Did I say something wrong?
ごめんなさい。気持ちは嬉しいんですけど、先輩は休んでいてください。家までだったら慣れてますし、一人でも大丈夫ですから。
Maybe so, but it really hasn't been safe lately. I'll walk you home at night for a while.
その、お兄さんに見つかると、先輩にまで迷惑がかかります。
Ah. I forgot. Sakura's older brother Shinji doesn't really like Sakura coming over to my place. He can't say much because Sakura says she goes to Fujine's house, but me taking her home might cause problems. I don't care if Shinji accuses me of something I didn't actually do, but I don't want him taking it out on Sakura. But it wouldn't be a problem if I walked you halfway, right? So there's no way we'll see Shinji at the intersection. Sakura is uncomfortably silent. Knowing Sakura, she probably couldn't even lie about the fact that I walked her home. Hey, then how about...
私が送っていこっか。
An English teacher wearing tiger stripes suddenly pokes her head through the door. It really doesn't fix anything. My concern is that a girl's walking home alone at night, so adding another girl would be... Wait a minute. Calling Fujine a girl may be a bit of a misnomer. There's a reason Fujine is a teacher in charge of the Kyudo Club. She was trained by old man Fujimura in Kendo, and her 5th rank designation makes her deadly, literally and figuratively. I guess it wouldn't be a problem if you went, Fujine. I bet you could beat the crap out of any perverts who might try to strike.
できるよ。だからさくらちゃんを送っていくのも問題なし。それでいい？さくらちゃん。
はい、藤村先生がよろしいのでしたら。
決まりだね。それじゃあ行こっか。私も今日はそろそろ帰ろうかなって思ってたんだ。
Fujine takes Sakura's hand and starts to leave. Oh, hold on a minute, Sakura.
何ですか、先輩。
Dinner was good. Thank you.
はい、ご迷惑でなかったら次も頑張りますね、先輩。
Sakura beams and leaves the living room. I can tell my cheeks are burning red. Honestly, Sakura takes me by surprise a lot lately. It's perplexing. Time sure flies. Not so long ago, she was just my friend's little sister. Now I find sometimes I can't quite look away from her. I'm so pathetic. I've always thought of Sakura as being like family, but I can't seem to readily accept this change. And that is how my day ends. Just before midnight, Shiro Emiya must perform the daily routine of utilizing Magecraft. I cross my legs, take my position, and regulate my breathing. I try to empty my mind. I ignore everything around me and turn my focus inward. Trace on. I mutter the familiar incantation, as if putting myself in a spell. No, this is a kind of hypnosis. With no magic crest or no magical knowledge, the incantation I mutter is really just a way to focus myself and change my body. Typically, humans do not have any lines which allow magical energy to pass through their body. To temporarily change my body to create a pseudo version of the lines, I need enough concentration to unify my entire physical and nervous systems. Magecraft is built within yourself. Or a battle within yourself. For example, I insert a burning steel rod into my backbone. The steel rod itself is the one and only magic circuit I can prepare for myself. By passing this deep within my body and connecting it to my other nerves, I can finally be a mage. This is not a metaphor. And if you look closely, a series of metal rods which cannot normally be seen or touched or pierce my backbone. Kiritsugu Emiya was a mage. He was a true mage who disciplined himself in a wide variety of mystics, plumbed the deeper secrets of the world and its workings, and even performed miracles. And as a young child, I admired Kiritsugu and begged him to teach me magecraft. But you can't just become a mage. You have to be born with talent and inherit a tremendous amount of knowledge. I obviously never had that inborn talent, and Kiritsugu never imparted any knowledge about magecraft to me. I was told it wasn't necessary for me, something like that. I still don't understand what he meant by that, but it didn't matter to me as a child. I always thought learning magecraft would bring me to that much closer to being like Kiritsugu. I was blessed neither with talent, that is, an abundance of magic circuits within me, nor was generations of magecraft knowledge handed down to me. The magecraft Kiritsugu possessed, the magic crest passed down from the Emiya family, can only be passed down to a blood relative. A magic crest, which is proof one is a mage, rejects any not blood related. As an adopted son, I could not receive the Emiya family's crest. Then again, Since I honestly don't have any idea what the hell Magic Crest even is, it doesn't matter much whether I have one or not. It's just a matter of gaining the ability. If I want to be a mage, I just have to learn Magecraft that suits the traits I do have. Magecraft is, taken to its extreme, a skill supposedly meant to release magical energy. You could say that magical energy is a life force. Magical energy is separated into two sources: mana, which comes from the world's atmosphere, and odd, which is created within living organisms. Obviously, mana, which comes from the world itself, is superior to odd. The sheer power of the world's mana is simply not even comparable to the odd one human can create. No matter the form it takes, Magecraft utilizing mana will always surpass anything created from an individual's odd. So a powerful mage is one who excels at drawing magical energy from the world. It's a lot like a filtration system. A mage will use their own body's circuits to draw in mana from outside and convert it into something useful. Mages call the circuits they use to accomplish this magic circuits. This is an inborn talent part. The number of magic circuits one has is determined at the moment of birth. Typically, humans have hardly any magic circuits. They are normally quite rare. That's why mages will spend generations trying to ensure their descendants have a body more suitable for magic. Some families even go as far as to practice selective breeding in order to increase the number of magic circuits in their children. And since I was raised in a normal family, I never had a chance of having much in the way of magic circuits. That left me only one option. According to Kiritsugu, everyone is well suited to one specific form of magecraft. He also said something about drawing out magical energy based on a person's origin, but I never understood that part. What I do understand is that even someone like me can at least use one form of magecraft. If I can do that, then maybe I can be like Kiritsugu. And that's why I only learned this one magecraft. It was 8 years ago. After a lot of thought, Kiritsugu took me on as his disciple, though he never seemed happy about it. In other words, it's like burning a candle at both ends. I guess I knew no fear as a child. Kiritsugu smiled bitterly, placing a hand atop my head as I nodded enthusiastically. I guess Kiritsugu didn't want me to be a mage. But I didn't care about that. I admired Kiritsugu, not mages. As long as I can be the sort of person who lives to help others, like Kiritsugu on the day of the fire and nightmare. Ugh. I got distracted. I feel the uncomfortable sensation of the iron rod in my backbone moving where it shouldn't. Ugh. Losing control of my breathing now would be fatal. The pseudo-magical circuits would overwhelm my body and shred it to pieces. And that would be the end of me. Shiro Emio would simply be a novice who died because he failed an elementary step. I grit my teeth and try to recover my connection. After pain like walking through a storm of needles, the iron rod finally sinks deep within my body and fuses with me. I've been working on this for a little over an hour. And after all that time, I'm finally able to create one pseudo-circuit. A circuit capable of creating magical energy using my own self. Basic structure. Analyze. All that's left is to allow the magical energy to flow naturally. Shiro Emiya is no mage. He's just a user of magecraft who can only create magical energy with his body and channel it into objects. And that's why I can only do one thing with this magecraft, which is composition, analyze, enhancing objects. It's just strengthening magecraft, where I apprehend an object structure and channel magical energy to temporarily reinforce its abilities. Basic structure, alter. I hold a broken iron pipe. I pass magical energy through it to execute the most basic magecraft to enhance its durability. Passing magical energy into something other than yourself is like mixing poison. My blood is a far cry from the blood of an iron pipe. Forcing an entirely different sort of blood through the object may very well destroy it rather than enhance it. I prevent that from happening. I need to properly understand an object's structure and pass magical energy into it between the small vacant spaces. Composition, reinforce. This may be easy for a skilled magician, or skilled mage. But since I have a hard time generating magical energy in the first place, even a task like this is difficult as shooting an arrow or hitting a target several hundred meters from you. A typical archery target is 28 meters away, so it goes without saying how hard it would be to hit a target at 10 times that distance. Ugh. My body temperature suddenly plummets. The fiery pillar passing through my backbone disappears, and my lungs seize in desperate need of oxygen. My back arches in an effort to keep me from passing out. Damn, I failed again. The iron pipe is unchanged. The magical energy I passed into it appears to have dispersed. Damn, adding to something that already has set form is hard. What I'm attempting to do is like adding an extra brushwork to a completed work of art. Adding something extra as a completed object raises the risk of compromising the object's integrity. The paintbrush, hoping to improve, may actually devalue the work instead. Which is why, despite its simplicity, strengthening magecraft is so difficult, and not many mages willingly use it. And it's not that I chose this, but it's really all I can do. It would be much easier if I could make something from shapeless clay, but a substitute like that recreates its form. Is all show and no substance. Which explains all the junk around. Whenever I fail at strengthening magecraft, I try to make substitute objects to practice and calm down on, but they all end up empty. I can visualize the structure of an object easily and recreate something very similar, but it's hollow. Obviously doesn't function at all. I wipe the sweat off my brow. I realize I'm absolutely dripping with sweat. If this is as bad as it got, I should consider myself lucky. But what happened earlier was really bad. Had I taken even a second longer to recover, my internal organs would probably be mush about now. If only pushing myself to the brink of death helped me improve, there'd be some hope here. But nothing comes that easily. At the same time, fear of death will stand in the way of improving my magecraft. Learning magecraft simply means courting death at every turn. Even rudimentary, everyday magecraft can spin wildly out of control from a single mistake, ending the caster's life. Kiritsugu always looked sad whenever he brought that up. Maybe it's his way of saying that he didn't want me to getting into any of this. Saving one person means not saving someone else. Being a hero of justice means you will need to be an extremely egocentric person. This was always his line. Kiritsugu always said that whenever I mentioned wanting to be like him, I still don't know what he meant by that. All I'm certain of is I want to save people, to be a hero of justice, like Kiritsugu Emiya. But I can't even manage the basics. I'm such an idiot for letting myself get distracted in the most crucial moment. It's not enough for me to just grasp at the object's structure visually. A skilled mage will be able to focus only on the crucial areas, efficiently channel magical energy. My dream is to become a hero of justice. I remembered what Fujine mentioned at dinner. I never really thought that goal was embarrassing or impossible. That Shiro Emiya would succeed Kiritsugu Emiya has already been decided. That's why I've been doing everything I can, despite how sorely I lack in experience. I don't know exactly what it means to be a hero of justice. But because I don't know, I've trained myself to be the best of my abilities in hopes that I'll be useful someday. I haven't taken my eye off the goal these past 5 years, but whenever things go wrong like this, I start to have doubts. I just don't get it, old man. What the hell do I have to do to be a hero of justice? I look up at the sky through a window. It's not just about being good for someone out of the blue. Saving someone and being a hero of justice are two different things. I know that. But what do I have to do to differentiate them? I've yet to understand the crucial concept for the past 5 years. February 1st. I awake to darkness. I guess I'm not much for dreaming. Unless something big happens, I always have the same dream anyway. I always envision a sword. I have no idea why, but that's the only thing that pops into my head. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Perhaps this is what defines me as Shiro Emiya. I don't have any dreams of my own. The only things on my mind while I sleep are what others taught me long ago. For example, on how to be a mage. Even when I'm not a full-fledged mage, it's only natural for a mage to be aware of the world that they're in. Put simply, a mage is an irregular, an outcast from society. But even outcasts need to band together to survive. My old man told me there's a society of mages called a Mages Association. He also told me I shouldn't ever get involved with them. The Mages Association is said to conceal the existence of magecraft and manage mages. The Mages Association watches over mages and makes sure their magecraft doesn't affect society. But the strange thing is that they don't really prohibit mages from abusing magecraft either. According to Kiritsugu, the Mages Association is only interested in concealing mystics. Even if, say, a mage carried out an experiment that sacrificed, let's say, a lot of citizens, the association wouldn't punish them. Their priorities are expressly in preventing the public from becoming aware of magecraft, which does not mean magecraft is completely banned. Honestly, anything goes as long as the truth doesn't come out. At least that's how it seems to be this insane bunch conducts themselves. Whatever it is, the Mages Association's surveillance is absolute. Typical magecraft research sacrifices the lives of ordinary citizens, which in turn risks revealing the existence of magecraft to the world. As such, the Mages Association doesn't permit research that would harm society. Ultimately, mages conduct their research in the privacy of their homes while the world is none the wiser. So mages sometimes go into hiding to escape the association's scrutiny and oversight. So there may be some mages living in this town, and I don't know it. I also hear Fuyuki is a spiritual hotspot of sort. That probably means there's some prestigious mage with a storied history living here. They're called second owners, elite mages the association entrusts to watch over territory. Other mages who live in the same area must visit these second owners first to get permission to build their workshops. My old man was an outlaw who cut ties with the association and moved here without consent of Fuyuki's second owner. So in a way, our family's a bunch of trespassers living in a house without permission from the landlord. Which means the second owner doesn't know that Kiritsugu Emiya was a mage. So I tend to feel that our family status as mages is kind of unclear. Then my old man, the bona fide mage, died. And even though I'm his disciple and son, I don't know a thing about the Mages Association, and have no real knowledge about being a mage. I have a feeling the association would want to dispose of someone like me, but they haven't made any sort of move. Apparently the Mages Association doesn't have many eyes in Japan, so that's probably why I haven't been found yet. But that doesn't mean I can let my guard down. The eyes of the Mages Association are said to be everywhere, and if someone commits a crime using magecraft, the church's heretic hunters make their move. Using magecraft, however half-assed you may be about it, makes you enemies. So with all that in mind, I honestly just want to study being a mage on my own. I wake up as the sunlight starts to pour through the window. Looks like the sun's just now coming up. It's still dark out. It's cold. Waking up in the morning is getting tough. I get up, trying not to let the morning cold discourage me, and I quickly fold up my futon. It's 5:30. I've always been an early riser, no matter how late I go to bed. I might mess up once in a while, like yesterday, but that's rare. Okay, breakfast. I let Sakura do all the work yesterday, so it would look kind of bad if I didn't return the favor this morning. I should hurry up and finish making breakfast before Sakura comes. I cook rice and make miso soup. Yesterday the soup had daikon radishes and carrots, so I'm making onion and potato miso soup today. I make the egg omelet and use the leftover kyonnyaku to simmer it with bonito flakes. I make incisions into the celery fish, which will be in the main dish, and sprinkle it with a little salt. All I have to do is broil it, but that can wait at least the last minute. Yeah, true. Okay, that'll do it. It's almost 6. I finished earlier than expected, so I have some time on my hands. So what should I do with this extra time? I guess I'll work up a quick sweat if I have so much time. Morning exercise is my daily routine, so I might as well do some light workout. The hushed atmosphere of the empty dojo encourages one to focus. And in the morning, just as the sun rises, its serenity makes the mood even more sacred and enthralling whoever visits the site. Anyway, there's only one thing I do here. Ever since my old man died, the dojo has turned into a gym to train my body. Training to be a mage means I can't neglect training my body. One of the conditions of being a mage is maintaining yourself at physical peak. When Kiritsugu was alive, he and I sparred often. Well, more than he just kicked my ass every time, so I never really learned how to win myself. But at least I learned the difference between a fight and a battle. In other words, I learned the difference between killing and beating an opponent, and how to conduct myself in each situation. Knowledge and experience are different. Without the knowledge to know the difference, it's hard to tell if you've gotten yourself into a fight or a massacre. It's as simple as that. Learning magecraft means that there's a risk of perishing on your own, as well as a risk of having to fight. And to mages, that means killing each other. That's why Kiritsugu wanted to teach me that I must always be ready to face death. But the person reminding me of that lesson is long gone. So the only thing I can do alone is some simple exercises. Guess I better get on with it. After I stretch to warm up, I focus on my inner strength and begin my exercises. As I train my body, I assess how my magic circuits could affect my blood flow. My skeletal frame's creaking, the fatigue I feel, and how much all that distracts my thoughts. 120, 150, 170. Even simple push-ups can train my magic circuits as long as I focus on my mental state, rather than putting physical weights on my body. With no proper mentor teaching me magecraft, morning training is no different than what most sports clubs do, and they have become very important for me.
もう済んでしまいましたか？
Yeah, it's all done. All that's left to do is to set the dishes and grill the fish.
あ、それならお手伝いします。食器の支度は任せてください。
Sakura is clearly eager in her reply. And coming in behind an ever-dependable Sakura,
この匂いはシローの卵焼きね。そっか、今朝はシローの朝ごはんなんだ。
Fujine casually heads to the table. Well, let's just ignore her for now. I need to grill a prepared fish. Sakura, use the middle set of plates. The food will look better on those.
この表面がブツブツのですか？
Yeah, those. Grilled meals tend not to look good if you don't plate them well. And I've already grated the daikon. Sakura reaches far to take out the plates. As she reaches out, I think I see a faint bruise on the back of her hand. Sakura, hold on a minute.
はい、何ですか先輩？
What's that bruise on your hand? She averts her eyes, looking uneasy. Her reaction makes how she got the bruise clear. Is it Shinji again? I can't believe he beats his own sister.
違います先輩。これは転んでぶつけちゃったんです。ほら、私鈍いでしょ？だからよく転んで怪我ばっかりしてるんです。
How stupid do you think I am? Nobody gets bruises like that from just falling. Seems like Shinji needed some sense smacked into him.
ダメです先輩。これ本当に兄さんは関係ないんです。私が一人で怪我をしただけなんですから、先輩に怒ってもらう資格なんてありません。
Sakura falls silent. Sakura may seem docile, but she's surprisingly stubborn. It's no use saying anything to her now. Fine. If you say so, I'll leave it at that.
はい。ごめんなさい、先輩。
Why are you apologizing? Shinji's the one in the wrong. The moment I say Shinji's name, Sakura awkwardly looks away. It can only mean that he is the cause of the bruise on her hand. Shinji Matao has a bad habit of treating his younger sister like crap. I noticed it about a year ago. Every now and then I see Sakura injured, and she's always made excuses when I asked her what happened. When I asked Shinji about it, he revealed to my shock that he's been the one who hit Sakura. I asked why, and he told me it was because she's done something he hadn't liked. I got pretty pissed off, so I did to Shinji what he'd done to Sakura. We haven't been on great terms since then.
先輩、兄さんとは仲直りしてくれましたか？
No. Huh? Yeah, sure. We've never fought in the first place. There's not much to call up for making up.
先輩にとってはそうでしょうけど、兄さんにとっては喧嘩をしたことになるんです。だから気をつけてください。
What Sakura says strikes me as odd. Be careful. Of Shinji?
はい、兄さん、先輩を目の敵にしてるって聞きました。先輩が退部するようになったのも兄さんのせいだって。
Shinji had nothing to do with me quitting. Well, he might have been a factor, but it's nothing that you should worry about. And Shinji's right. This is a little unsightly. I point at my left shoulder. There's a little scar there. Happened about a year and a half ago. Something fell on me during one of my jobs, injuring my left shoulder. I ended up with just a broken bone, but I also came away with a burn on my shoulder. After the accident, I quit the Kyudo club. Our school's Kyudo club, out of respect for formalities, allows students to perform sacred shooting rituals. Male students participating expose their left shoulder. Shinji pointed out that it may be disrespectful for someone performing a sacred shot to expose a scar. And since I was getting busy with my various jobs, I decided to quit the club.
先輩、しつこいようですけど、本当にもう弓は引かないんですか？藤村先生も怪我なんて支障はないって言ってるのに。
Ha! Fujine would never say that even if I'd broken every bone in my body.
先輩、私、真面目な話をしているんです。
I know I should give her a serious answer, but unfortunately I can't give Sakura the answer she's looking for. I don't have time to do club activities like Kyudo. I like Kyudo, but it's not something I should prioritize. So I think I'll give it a rest for a while.
しばらくって、どのくらいですか？
Until I graduate. However long I feel like. Or maybe until it's time for you to graduate. I'm looking forward to having you look after me then, Sakura. I pat Sakura's shoulder.
はい、私、その時をお待ちしています。
She nods so violently it looks like she might drop the plates. Still have to grill a fish. It's almost 7:30. Sakura and Fujine have long since left the house in their morning club activities. I went to school early yesterday because Issei asked me to, but I leave the house at the usual time today. I noticed something strange as I walked down the hill towards the intersection. Several police cars are parked in front of a house. Something must have happened since a crowd has gathered. There are easily 20 people watching. I'm curious, but the mass of people prevents me from finding out what's happening. I don't have much time, so I should hurry to school. I make it to school 10 minutes before the first bell. As I cross through the gate with plenty of time as usual, I run into a familiar student. You haven't even changed yet, Mitsuzuri. Homeroom's about to start. You really don't have time to say hi to me. I don't know what's so funny, but she laughs heartily, not caring about her surroundings. This is Ayako Mitsuzuri. She's been a classmate of mine since we were first years. She's currently captain of the Kyoto Club. She's an unbelievably insightful person, and it is expected that she would be the team's next captain since her first year with them. Mitsuzuri is a precocious sort, and people have always had high hopes for her, and even leaned on her ever since she was a first year. And then again, she gets mad whenever someone mentions that in front of her, claiming she doesn't look as old as people think. No, not at all. I wouldn't dare. Just making an observation. If you want to get angry about it, that's your call.
言うじゃん。いいね。正直に答えるくせに何をどう考えてたかは口にしないんだもの。エミヤ、シンジと違って隙がないな。
Shinji, what's he got to do with this?
なんでも何も。あんたとシンジって友人じゃない。シンジの男友達ってあんただけでしょ。それにお忘れでしょうが、私これでも弓道部の首相なの。うちの問題児と辞めちまった問題児をくっつけるのは自然な流れだと思わない？
I don't think I'd call us friends. I guess the Kyoto Club's got nothing to do with it, but he and I go back a long way.
あ、カチンときた。あんたね、弓道部の話になると急に冷たくなるでしょ。いいご身分よね。シンジをほっぽっといて自分はさっさと退場しちゃうんだから。後に残された私とかさくらの気持ちとか少しは考えてくれてもいいんじゃない？
What, did Shinji do something bad again?
あいつが何もやらない日なんてないけど。ま、それにしても昨日のはちょっとやりすぎか。1年の男子が1人辞めたぐらいだから。
Mitsuzuri sighs gravely. Seeing her look so serious is rare to begin with, but the rest of her story is particularly alarming. What the heck? Why'd he quit?
シンジのやつが八つ当たりしたのよ。わざわざ女子を集めてね、夢を持ったばかりの子に射をさせて的中するまで笑い物にしたとか。
How could you let something like that happen?
見過ごすか。けどさ、首相ってのはいろいろと忙しいんだ。いつも道場にいるわけじゃないってエミヤだって知ってるでしょ。
Like, yeah, but what the hell was Shinji thinking? He may be even harsher than the others, but he's not the type to make someone a spectacle.
あきれた。エミヤっては本当にあれだ。
What do you mean by that? Were you just thinking something bad about me?
あら、私はあくまで客観的な事実を連想しただけさ。それで気を悪くするのはエミヤの勝手だね。
Why are you using my own words against me? Fine. So what's got into Shinji? Why'd he do that?
聞いた話じゃ、遠坂にこっぴどく振られたとかなんとか。
Eh? Tosaka? You mean that Tosaka?
うちの学校にあれ以外の遠坂なんていないでしょ。2年 A 組の優等生、ミスパーフェクトこと遠坂凛よ。
That's the first time I've heard that nickname. But it fits. It's no surprise Shinji got rejected. And knowing Tosaka, she probably had some pretty harsh insults to go with the rejection.
ともかく、シンジのやつは昨日からずっとその調子よ。おかげで私もこんな時間まで道場で目を光らせてたってわけ。
Shinji does have a low tolerance for some things. I know it might be tough, but good luck, Mitsuzuri.
はいはい。けどね、シンジって懲りないでしょ。また遠坂に声をかけて振られた日には、今度こそ遠坂本人に何かしそうでさ。
She'd probably kill him. No, even Shinji wouldn't go near someone who just rejected him. He's good about that sort of thing.
けど相手が近寄ってくるんだからしょうがないじゃない。遠坂さ、なんか知らないけど、うちの道場をよく見学に来るのよ。エミヤは辞めちゃったから知らないだろうけどね。
What do you mean you don't know why? You're friends! Dingus. That's news to me. Rinta Saka doesn't participate in any club activities because her family forbids it or something. She even turned down nominations to be a member of the student council, so I always thought she went straight home after school.
ま、たまにはそれもいいか。あいつもお高く止まってるし、一度ぐらいは痛い目に遭うのもいいかもね。お気の毒様っていうか、ご愁傷様っていうか。
Mitsuzuri has a weird way of looking at this. Now I think about it, they say that Rin Tasaka has a lot of enemies. I wonder if Mitsuzuri is one of them too. Hey Mitsuzuri, that's kind of cruel even for you.
あ、そろそろ時間だ。じゃあね、エミヤ。今度私の弓の調子見に来てよ。
Mitsuzuri hastily runs off. Classic Mitsuzuri. I never minded just how forthright she always is. I feel a bit more at ease and head towards the classroom. It's lunchtime. Our school has quite the cafeteria and most of the students eat lunch there. But there are some old-fashioned students who still bring their own lunches, including myself and the student council president sitting in front of me.
エミヤ、その唐揚げを一つくれないか。俺の弁当には圧倒的に肉分が不足している。
No. Fine, but why is your lunch always so plain, Issei? You know I live in a temple. Or I know you live in a temple, but there's no rule that prohibits you from consuming alcohol or meat, right?
何を時代錯誤なことを。これは単に親父殿の趣味だ。小坊主に食わす贅沢はない。悔しいのなら己で何とかせよ、などという。いっそ今からでも天土になるか。俺も考えどころだ。
The circus, huh? Ah, that sounds like your old man. Issei's father is the priest of Ryudo Temple, a larger-than-life figure who's also friends with Fujine's grandfather. Anyone who gets along with old man Fujimura can't possibly be normal. Well, then here you go. You owe me. I passed my bento box to him.
いやいや、ありがたく。これも托発の修行なり。
Issei bows deeply. I honestly question whether I should be reminded that he's the son of a priest at times like this.
そういえばエミヤ、朝方2丁目の方で騒ぎがあったのを知っているか。ちょうどエミヤと別れるあたりの交差点だが。
I did see something. The intersection? Could it be the same intersection where I saw the police cars this morning?
なんでもな、殺人があったそうだ。詳細は知らないが、一家4人中助かったのは子供だけらしい。両親と姉は刺殺されたというが、その凶器が包丁やナイフではなく長物だというのが普通じゃない。
A long weapon? Does he mean a sword or something? If it's a murder, then that weapon killed the parents and older sister. I can't help but imagine it. Someone sneaks in the house late at night, unreasonable violence, a horrible nightmare the victim neither imagined nor wished for. Like a traffic accident, the parents are slaughtered. The older sister falls victim without knowing what is happening. A lone child hidden in the shadows is covered in their family's blood. Issei, did they catch the murderer?
捕まってはいないようだな。信徒の方では欠陥工事による事故。こちらでは辻切りめいた殺人事件だ。学校の門限が早まるのも当然。どうしたエミヤ？喉に飯でも詰まったか？
Huh? Nothing. Why do you ask?
いや、エミヤが厳しい顔をしていたのでな。少し驚いた。すまん。食事時の話ではなかったな。
Issei apologizes and tries to lighten the mood. I actually don't mind topics like this, and didn't realize it was looking so severe. And then there's a gentle knock on the student council room's door.
失礼。竜道はいるか？
ああ、はい。何ですか、先生。
Mr. Kuzuki enters, and Issei steps over to him to have a quiet conversation. It must be a casual student council matter once Issei looks relaxed. Look at that. It's something I don't see every day. Issei is surprisingly shy. He keeps his distance from classmates, even teachers, but for some reason he's warmed up to his student council advisor, Mr. Kuzuki. Maybe they get along because they're both straight-laced. Shoichiro Kuzuki is the homeroom teacher for class 2A, and he's very serious and kind of weird. Some part of that is probably why he and Issei get on so well. The two continue to talk. As I watch them, I can't stop thinking about the murder. Classes end, and it's about time to go home. Can't wander around because I have work today. I shouldn't do anything at school. I should head straight to the neighboring town. But maybe the morning conversation bothered me more than I realized. The next thing I know, I'm at the Kyoto Club. What the hell am I thinking? Mitsuzuri said Rin Tasaka frequently visits. Well, I hadn't thought of that, but I think it'd be a problem if Shinji got violent against Tasaka. Shinji's unstoppable when he gets mad. Shinji lashing out at Kosaka because she rejected him would be bad. I don't know exactly how, but it'd just be bad. Oh, Tasaka's not even here. Tasaka's nowhere to be found behind the dojo. Mitsuzuri worried for nothing. Ah! Issei, who I thought had parted ways with, is standing right next to me. Why are you here, Issei? Don't scare me like that.
エミヤが挙動不審げに道 女を眺めていたからつい。で、誰がいないって？
Well, it's Tasaka. I heard she had a spat with Shinji yesterday, so I wanted to make sure things were okay.
ほうほう、挙動不審だな。聞かれてもいないのに理由まで話すなど。俺は誰がいないかと聞いただけなのだが。
What? It's none of your business what I do around here.
それはしかり。だが無駄だぞエミヤ。遠坂はここにはいない。なぜならあいつは今日ずる休みだ。
That she did. What? Cut class, so she's absent? I see. Wait, Issei, why do you think she cut class? That's not the sort of thing she'd ever do.
するとも、あいつが風邪などひくものか。俺が見たところあいつは悪いやつだ。外見に騙されるとパクッと食われるぞエミヤ。
Somehow what Issei's saying irritates me. I may not know Tasaka that well, but I don't feel like she's a bad person. Watch what you say, Issei. You know Tasaka's not like that.
なんだ、エミヤも遠坂狙いなのか。ああ、それはすまない。今のは流してくれ。
A secret crush, like hell. Don't make assumptions. I'm just worried if Shinji's going to stir up some trouble.
シンジが遠坂に殴りかかろうとしたら止めるためか。またそんな役回りをするな。別に俺は気にしないが、割と趣味が悪いのだな、エミヤは。
I'm unscathed so far because nothing's happened. But Issei, what was that crap you were saying?
遠坂狙いは趣味が悪いってことかい？
Yeah, that. Tasaka's popular. I haven't heard any bad rumors about her.
ああ、聞かないね。それがまた気に食わない。
What part bothers you?
だから全部だよ。あれはメギツネだ。女性だ。妖怪だ。とにかく生理的に気に食わない。悪いことは言わないから、エミヤも気に入らないようにしろ。
You're the one who always warns everyone not to talk about people behind their back.
たわけ。これが陰口に入るか。俺は聞こえるように喋っている。
No wonder I sense people watching us. Well, that's a relief. I'm really glad Tasaka's absent today. Issei, please, can we talk a little quieter?
エミヤがそういうのなら了解した。が、とりわけ中傷していたわけではないぞ。単に竜道一世が遠坂凛を警戒していると言っただけだ。あくまで個人の趣味嗜好の範囲だろう。
You use words like vixen and minx. I'm pretty sure minx is definitively a derogatory term.
何？褒め言葉だ。メギツネにも妖怪にもいいものはいる。あくまで遠坂を表現する値として採用しただけである。かつ。
Issei laughs.
それではな。俺は生徒会室に戻るが、エミヤはバイトだろう。こんなところで道草を食っている暇はなかろう。
Issei leaves calm and composed, perhaps because he felt satisfied having said everything he wanted to say. I've known him for 2 years now, but honestly, I still don't get the guy. I ride the bus from school for 20 minutes. I arrive at Shinto in the neighboring town across the bridge. Oh, it's not even 5 yet. I still have some time. There aren't many part-time jobs in the residential area of Miyama, but there are plenty in Shinto since it's a developing area. Our school allows students to hold a part-time job, so I take on simple jobs. I prefer my jobs to be physical, and the tougher, the shorter they are, the better. I get paid all while training my body, so it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Today I'll work from 5 to 8 o'clock for a simple loading job. It may just be 3 hours of work, but it feels more like 6 hours since they make you work without a minute's rest. Which means I need to rest when I have the opportunity, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Walking around aimlessly would be a waste of energy, so I decide to rest at the park until it's time. This park is nestled between buildings. It's like a giant plaza full of trees and shrubbery. The park should typically be filled with families and couples during weekends and holidays, but this one is deserted at this hour. In fairness, this place is always desolate, no matter the time or the day or time. This place is the same as always. I sigh in exasperation. The area is unkept, and it's really pretty ugly compared to other places that are properly landscaped and maintained. As if the desolate location had set the mood, the wind itself blows cold and harsh. This place is the remnant of the great catastrophe that happened 10 years ago. It's the very place where I was saved from the brink of death. Why don't they seed some grass here or something? It's a shame to keep it like this. The area is quite large, so if they leveled it, there'd be plenty of space to work on a park. I sit down on the bench as I think. With nothing else to do, I stare out over the burned area to pass the time. I don't remember anything that happened here. The only thing I remember is that it was hot, and I couldn't breathe. And that some people died trying to save others. I wonder why that happened. One adult here died because they were trying to save a child from a burning house. Another person was offered all the available water to extinguish their raw, parched throat, while others in the same situation died. Someone here tried to flee the fire as fast as they could, but the people left behind died. And someone died here because they gave whatever it was that kept them alive to someone they didn't even know. I don't like thinking about that. Just thinking about people trying to help and becoming victims of their own trouble makes me angry. Is it too much to ask for everyone to be saved and for them to get their happy ending afterward? All I want is to see people peacefully prevail. Why can't that happen? That was Kiritsugu's response to the question when a very young me asked it. As a child, I obviously refused to accept that idea. But you saved me, Kiritsugu. I knew you were a magician, and you could do anything. I knew you were a champion of justice who wouldn't let anyone suffer, and you did it. You did it without asking for any reward. That's why I've always believed you managed to save everyone back then. In response to me shouting this at him, Kiritsugu looked more troubled than I'd ever seen him. It's something I remember to this day. Seigi. Yeah, I get that. And now it's been pointed out, it seems so obvious. Imagine if there was a burglar and some hostages, and the burglar intends to kill the hostages. Under normal circumstances, a majority of the hostages would probably die. But if by some miracle all the hostages were saved, there's someone who didn't get saved. The burglar, of course, since saving the hostages was done at the cost of his life. The people the champion of justice saves are only those whom the champion of justice deems to save. That's why saving everyone is impossible. Even God can't do that. Especially if it's a natural disaster. No one is able to save everyone and everything. The fire 10 years ago was like that. As someone who was miraculously saved from the incident, it wasn't my place to say anything at this point. But I still don't like it. I don't want anything like that. I don't like the idea that there's a limitation to who can be saved. No matter how impossible it may be, I need to reach out to help. I can't stand to see people around me die, like back then. If the person I am now had been there 10 years ago, I would have thrown myself into the fire. But then I would have died, and for nothing. That would have happened for sure. Jeez, I can't even fantasize in my head. Crap, I can't believe it's already 5. The bell in the distance rings, chiming 5 o'clock. I get up from the bench and hurry to my part-time job. By the time I'm done working, the sun is long set. It's a little before 8 o'clock. I finished about 10 minutes earlier because I kind of overworked myself. Maybe it's because I'd stopped at the park before work. That might have motivated me to push myself harder. At the train station, the night was just getting started. There were a bunch of people milling about and an endless stream of cars on the road. Guess there's no need for me to get something for Fujine. I walk along the path as I gaze up the lighted building. It's the biggest building in Shinto, so I can't see all the way to the top. As I gaze at the building, enjoying the nighttime scenery. Huh? I think I see something bizarre. What is that? I stop and try to look very top. I squint, trying to bring what I see into focus. But it's like staring at grains of rice. It looks like someone I know. But I can't think why this girl I know would have a reason to be there. It doesn't seem like she's going to do anything up there. Oh yeah? Nice. But she's just standing there, looking down at the city, as the wind ruffles her hair. She doesn't seem to notice me down below. Actually, there's no way she could see me. Even my near-perfect vision enhanced with Magecraft can barely distinguish what's up there. I'm able to tell she's up there because she's isolated, but there's no way she would be able to pick me out of a crowd on the ground. She just looked down at the town. It seems like she's looking for something. I can almost feel her sharp gaze even at this distance. I forget how long it's been, but I continue to look up at the girl standing in the void. She stands at the top of a high tower. She's like a magician looking down at the surface of the world and the bright moon shining bright behind her. Oh, and then she disappears, apparently done with whatever she brought her up there. The rooftop stands empty. The scenery returns back to nothing more than a beautiful night sky. Was that Tasaka up there? I can't be sure, but I'm probably right about who it was, at least. There aren't many girls I know who stand like her, and besides, I'm not so out of it as I fail to notice a girl I secretly admire. It's just, Tasaka sure has a weird way of spending her time. Unlike Shinto, there's no sign of people anywhere in Miyama. Where nobody's around after 8 at night, the town is silent and still. The house I saw this morning stands across the intersection. There are no signs of life, and a no trespassing sign hangs over the front door. In just a single day, the house has fallen quiet, almost like an abandoned building. A girl and her parents were killed by a burglar. I wonder what life awaits for a single child who survived. I bite my lip, frustrated with my powerlessness. I promised I'd be just like Kiritsugu, but I couldn't do anything, even when something like this happens so close to home. I want to help people, but I don't even know what I can do. I reach the top of the hill where my house sits. The lights are on, so Fujine or Sakura are still inside. I'm home. Oh, it's just you, Fujine. Fujine turns toward me, munching on a rice cracker. The TV is tuned to a lively variety show. I am home early. I had to work until 8, so get off my back about that. So where's Sakura? I see dinner's already prepared. Fuck! Oh. Fujine cheerfully replies. As far as she's concerned, anyone who makes her food is a good person. I see. That's probably a good thing for now. It's been dangerous lately, so maybe I'll take over making dinner until the new school term starts.
反対。シロ帰ってくるの遅いじゃない。それからご飯作ってたら食べるの10時過ぎになっちゃうよ。
Too fucking bad. Oh. Couldn't you just eat at home?
だからここが私の家だよ。
Fujine tilts her head, puzzled. Honestly, I'm not sure if a response like that should make me happy or sad. Sheesh, fine, I know it's pointless asking you to make dinner. By the way, what's that you've got there? You didn't bring more junk over, did you? Fujine has a tendency to leave a bunch of junk here. She'll bring stuff like bowls from restaurants that are too big to be functional and unnecessarily heavy, earthen teapot, or a weird guitar that plays itself. She must think this place is a convenient storage or something. Show it to me, I'm going to toss it in the trash.
これ？うちで余ったポスターだけど。
Uh-huh. Fujine hands me the poster. It's probably a poster of some no-name singer. Let's see. I knew it. It's a poster of a young man wearing a military uniform, smiling with his thumbs up, all in front of a cheap-looking blue sky background. The caption on the poster, in bloody font, Love's Lovely Rangerland. Come to the self-defense meetup. Hey, this is a recruitment post for a youth group.
それいらないからあげるね。
Why would I want it? I don't want this either. I quickly roll the poster back up and then try to whack Fujine on the head with it.
外れ。
However, Fujine counters mercilessly with another poster she's been holding. Conk. Her poster sword bops me light. Gah! Stars. I see stars.
シロの腕で私に当てようなんて甘いわよ。悔しかったらもうちょっと腕を磨きなさいね。
That's not the issue here. How the hell does paper poster make a sound like that? Did she manage some sort of technique only a true poster master can execute?
ごめんごめん。こっちのポスター初回特典版なんで豪華鉄板仕様だった。シロ、頭大丈夫？
Fujine, you're going to end up killing someone one of these days.
その時はシロがお嫁にもらってくれるから安心かな。
Yeah, not a chance. I'm not marrying a natural-born killer.
私そんな物騒なのじゃないと思う。
You would be that unaware of your actions. I pray that I survive. I'll have to be very careful from now on if I'm going to have any hope of avoiding being murdered.
ふんだ、いってらっしゃい。そんなことよりシロ、私お腹減った。今まで待ってたんだから早くご飯の用意しよう。
Fujine gets up. What's up with Fujine? She must be really hungry if she's offering to help, even if it's just to help setting the table. Fine, then you take out the plates and bowls. You can at least scoop the rice into bowls, right?
告げるよ。ねえシロ、私丼でいいかな。
No. That shouldn't be a problem. Sakura's not here today, so we'll definitely have leftovers.
よしよし。それじゃ、シロもお揃いね。
Fujine scoops mounds of rice into 2 large bowls. Whatever. I was going to go for a second helping anyway, and if I meddle in what Fujine does now, we may never have dinner. Besides, this is the kind of chaotic scene dinner in my home has been for years. Another day ends. We finish our rowdy dinner, and after I see off Fujine, I take a bath. After that, I head to the shed for my daily training. I complete it as usual, then go to sleep. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Today ends peacefully and without incident. February 2nd. Long day, long night. I'm in a fire. Houses crumble and people burn. No matter where I go, all I see is crimson. This is what I saw 10 years ago. It's a long forgotten memory of the past. I run through the scenery recreating what happened. I know it's a nightmare, but there's no way to escape. I run and keep running. Every time the scene ends with me as a child running out of energy and getting rescued. I wake up feeling wrong. A hand on my forehead tells me I'm sweating even though it's winter. Oh, it's late. The clock reads past 6. I hear the soft sound of chopping from the kitchen. Sakura is early again. Not really the time to be impressed with what an early riser she is. I need to hurry up and get ready so I can help her with breakfast.
Shiro, 今日どうするのよ。土曜日だから午後はアルバイト?
No, not today. I might help Issei out. Why do you ask?
別に暇だったら道場の方に遊びに来てくんないかなーって。私今月ピンチなのだ。
A bind? Why?
お財布事情がピンチなの。誰かがお弁当作ってくれると嬉しいんだけどなー。
I think we're good, but like, what the fuck was that? I'm always confused when that happens. I'm going to hold on for a minute just to make sure. We're going to reopen Discord. It seems to be just a hiccup. Or not. Alright, anyway, breakfast goes smoothly. Today's menu includes typical sides, and the main dish is braised lotus, root, konnyaku, and chicken. Sakura probably didn't need to make such an elaborate dish for breakfast, but I'm guessing she made extra to pack for lunch. Sakura is a member of the Kyudo Club, and Fujine is the club's faculty advisor. Nobody would think it's weird for the two of them to have the same lunch.
そういえばシロ、今朝は遅かったけど何かあった?
Fujine looks my way as she sips her miso soup. As much as she's just kind of out there most of the time, she's pretty sharp about this kind of thing. Had a dream about the past and woke up feeling crappy. That's it.
なんだ、いつものことか。なら安心かな。
Gee, thanks. It's not an interesting topic for Fujine, so she shifts the conversation in another direction. That doesn't bother me one bit. 10 years ago, I used to have nightmares a lot, back when I couldn't shake the memory of that fire. But as time went on, those nightmares grew less and less frequent, and I've gotten to the point where the dreams don't bother me anymore. I've been told my nightmares were pretty bad back then, though Fujine was already with us by then. She's been sensitive about changes in me since.
シロ、食欲はある? 今朝に限ってないとかない?
Nope, I'm fine. So quit using my dream as an excuse to try stealing my food.
シローが強くなってくれて嬉しいけど、もうちょっと繊細でいてくれた方がいいな、お姉ちゃんは。
Right back at you, since I'm basically your younger brother. I kind of wish you ended up more delicate and sweet yourself. We both huff and turn our heads away from each other. Seeing that as a sign that I'm fine, Fujine smiles in relief. Honestly, I appreciate her consideration. But I know she'll get an ego about it if I say it directly, so I pretend to grunt and protest instead. Sakura looks puzzled by our interaction. Soon after Fujine leaves, I lock up and Sakura and I leave as well.
先輩、今日の夜から月曜日までお手伝いに来れませんけどよろしいですか？
That's fine. Besides, it's the weekend. I bet you have friends to hang out with, so don't worry about me.
そんな違います。そういうんじゃないです。本当に個人的な用事でちゃんと部活にだって出るんですから。だから何かあったら道場に来てくれれば何とかします。別に土日だからって遊びに行くわけじゃないです。だから変な勘違いはしないでもらえると助かります。
What? Sakura's acting suspicious, or rather, she seems nervous. I don't know why, but it's probably just that she can't come over the week. Got it. I'll go to the dojo if I need anything.
はい、そうしてもらえれば嬉しいです。
Sakura sighs in relief. But the moment Sakura lowers her gaze, her expression stiffens.
先輩って。
Sakura is staring at my left hand. I look down and see blood trickling from it. Huh? I pull up my shirt sleeve. Yep, blood. The hell? Did I cut myself with something last night? But I don't feel any pain. Looks like there's a welt on my hand. The bruise stretches all the way from my shoulder to the back of my hand. It looks like a snake is trying to reach my palm from the top of my shoulder. Well, it doesn't hurt. I'm sure it'll go away soon. I don't think it's anything to worry about.
はい。先輩がそう言うのでしたら気にしません。
The sight of blood probably makes Sakura sick, since she's keeping her head down. Sakura heads to the club while I head to the school building. The schoolyard is filled with athletic club members training. This morning is practically brimming with enthusiastic energy. But something feels strange. Everything in the school is as usual. The students exercising for morning practice are lively, and the new school building is spotless. Maybe it's just my imagination. But when I close my eyes, the mood changes drastically. The building walls feel stained, like membranes have latched onto them, and the students themselves seem like empty dolls. Maybe I'm just tired. I shake my head to clear it and head to campus. School ends early on Saturdays. Classes end in the morning, but by the time I finish helping Issei, the sun is starting to set. I guess it's time to go home. I pack my bag and leave the classroom. But then,
なんだまだ学校にいたんだエミヤ
I run into Shinji. There are a few girls behind him making a small commotion.
やることもないくせにまだ残ってたのああそうかまた生徒会にごますってたわけねいいねエミヤは部活なんてやんなくても内心稼げるんだからさ
I'm not helping the student council, I'm just helping the school by repairing old equipment. Since we all use it.
よく言うよエミヤに言わせればなんだって当たり前だからねそういういい子ぶりが勘に触るって前に言わなかったっけ
Don't remember. Probably wasn't listening if you did. You say that kind of stuff all the time.
そうか。それじゃあ学校にあるものなら何でも直してくれるんだ、エミヤは。
It's impossible to fix everything. The most I can do is take care of things.
よし。なら頼まれてくれよ。うちの弓道場さ、今割と散らかってるんだよね。弦も巻いてないのが溜まってるし、安土の掃除もできてない。
Isn't that your responsibility?
暇ならさ、そっちの方もよろしくやってくれないかな。元弓道部員だろ。生徒会になんか尻尾振ってないで、たまには僕たちの役に立ってくれ。
ちょっと先輩、それって先輩が藤村先生に言われてたことじゃなかった？
Yes, yes, she did.
そうですよ。ちゃんとやっておかないと明日怒られますよ。
でもさ、今から片付けしてたら店閉まるじゃん。そこの人がやってくれるんならそれでいいんじゃないの？
悪いよ。それに部外者に後片付けなんかできるわけないし。そうでもないんじゃない？あの人元弓道部員だってシンジが言ってるしさ。任せちゃえばいいのよ。
The girls behind Shinji are awfully chatty. They seem to be Kyudo members, but since they don't recognize any of them, they must be members Shinji recruited recently.
じゃあ、あとはよろしく。鍵の場所は変わってないから、勝手にやっといてよ。文句ないよね、エミヤ。
Gee, thanks for just, assigning me this task and thinking I'm just going to do it. No, I don't mind. I've got some time on my hands, and it's no problem.
サンキュー。それじゃあ行こうぜみんな。つまんない雑用はあいつがやっといてくれるってさ。
待ってよ先輩。じゃああとはよろしくお願いしますね先輩。
I cleaned the Kyudo dojo without any problems, since I'm familiar with it. It's a big room, so it took a while, but it's kind of fun cleaning a place I used to spend so much time in until a year and a half ago. Midway through, I considered trying to shoot a bit, but decided not to. It would be rude to the owner of the bow. If I want to shoot, all I have to do is bring in my own bow and visit. I look at the time, and it's way past curfew. It's a little after 7. The school gates must be closed by now, so there's no need for me to rush out. Now that I look closely, I don't remember the dojo being so dirty before. There's dirt and grime all over the place, like behind the bow rest in the club room. I guess another hour or two wouldn't make much of a difference at this point. I've already started, so might as well clean every nook and cranny. The wind is starting to pick up. It's so cold, my cheeks are starting to sting. Fuyuki typically isn't cold at night during winter, but tonight's certainly an exception. My breath fogs the air with every exhale. No wonder it's darker than usual. The moon's hidden tonight. I look up and there's no light in the sky. A strong wind sends chills speeding across the night sky. Or clouds speeding across the night sky. Curfew is long past and there's no sign of life in the empty school. Not so much as a sound can be heard on campus, and it seems to be covered with colder air than any place in town. I think I heard something. I do hear something. It's coming from the schoolyard. That night under the frosty sky, I guess I got curious, and the sound that broke the hushed silence. So I headed towards the sound to investigate. I got to the schoolyard. Is that people? It looks that way, at least from a distance. It's just so damn dark. I need to get closer. I want to find out more. The sound grows louder and more intense. I know that sound. It's clashing metal. It sounds like a fight. This is so stupid. What the hell am I thinking? I'm being stupid, obviously. Who would ever fight in a school's courtyard with weapons like that? And then, it was probably my gut instinct that sensed the danger. Or maybe keeping out of sight as I approached that was just a stroke of luck. Whatever the reason, I hid behind a tree big enough to conceal me and took a closer look at the source of the sound. There, my mind froze. What? I can't comprehend what I'm seeing. A man in red and a man in blue. The two of them are clad in armor so ancient it's several steps beyond old-fashioned. It's a ridiculous sight, but their rapid, deadly movements make it clear that this fight is no joke. I don't understand. I can't even follow their movements. They're too fast. Their movements look so surreal, my mind can't function properly. The sound of their clashing weapons is the only thing convincing me the two of them are actually fighting to the death. But there's one thing I'm sure about. They're not human. They have to be something else, in the guise of humans. My magecraft training isn't why I know this. Anyone could see that these two aren't human. To start, humans can't move like that. Nobody should get involved with whatever that is. I can feel their intent to kill, even from a distance. I'm going to die. My body instinctively knows, before my brain kicks in, that I just won't live if I stay here. My racing heart is proof of that. I sense they're living things designed only to kill. No knife or blade would be a match for whatever they're wielding. They're clearly meant to only kill. I suddenly remember yesterday's murders. The family that fell victim is said to have been killed by a bladed weapon. Damn. I shouldn't stay and watch another second. But I can't move a muscle. I can hardly breathe. My mind is telling me to flee. But something else tells me they'll find me the second I move. More than any internal conflict, though, I'm just paralyzed. I'm more than 40 meters away from them, but I still imagine getting stabbed in the back with a spear. Can't breathe. The sound stops. Two figures separate and stand, facing each other. Just as I'm starting to feel a sense of relief that the fight's over, another stronger sense of malice creeps over me. What? My heart feels like it's shriveled up in my chest. The numbness of my body turns to convulsions and clench my teeth in an effort to compose myself. Unbelievable. Who the hell is that guy? A nauseating high amount of magical energy flows into the man in blue. Kiritsugu once demonstrated to me how to draw in magical energy from one's surroundings. It was kind of magecraft so beautiful it impressed even an apprentice mage like me. But this is different. The same way even a simple act of drinking water can look revolting if done excessively. The man in blue appears to be binge eating. The sight is so extreme that anyone with magical energy would find it repulsive. He's going to die. The man in red is dead meat. The attack will be infused with more magical energy than anyone could possibly defend against. He's going to die. That inhuman something, in the guise of a man, is going to die. But can I just let this happen? The question shakes me out of my paralysis. My body is suddenly free and I take a deep breath. The man in blue glares in my direction. The man in blue crouches in a way that tells me one thing. I'm his new target. My legs are moving before I even have a thought of running. The rest of my body finally realizes it's time to flee for my life, and suddenly, all the energy is being poured into doing exactly that. I don't remember where I ran, though, or how I got there, but I'm in the school building. Real genius here. I may regret my own actions as I huff and puff. I should have run toward town. I've got to be the world's biggest idiot thinking I can escape by running into an empty building. A school of all places. There must have been other better places to hide. And what the hell convinced me I'd die if I didn't run to begin with? My chest burns from all the running. I turn around, but I don't sense anything pursuing me. The only sound of my own footsteps. I can finally stop. My feet can barely move with another step. I gulp down lungfuls of air, trying to slow my heart down and breathe a sigh of relief. I survived. What the hell was all that? I try to recall what I just saw as I catch my breath. One thing's for sure. I definitely wasn't meant to see that. Things that looked human fighting in the schoolyard at night. That's all I can really remember. But I'd seen something else out in the corner of my eye. I think there was also someone else. I can't remember what they looked like, though. Honestly, I couldn't afford to look at anything other than the two figures locked in combat. But finally, the voice comes on right in front of me. I can't breathe. My mind goes blank. I can't think. But I know I'm going to die. And with that, he raises his spear. No mercy, no compassion. His spear pierces my heart. I didn't even have time to dodge. No training I ever did prepare me for this. I knew I was going to die. I knew the spear was going to impale me, but I couldn't move. The world distorts around me. My body's growing cold. Numbness creeps in from my fingertips to the rest of me. I cough up blood once. I felt like there should have been more, but it was just the one cough. The spear must have been special. My blood slows and grows stagnant. My heart just stops, all from a single strike of that spear. I can't see anything. I don't feel anything. I'm like a jellyfish floating on the dark sea of the night. I stopped feeling pain long ago. The world has turned white. I'm the lone dark spot. So rather than being aware that I died, it just feels like everything around me has ceased to exist. I know this. I experienced the same thing 10 years ago. This is what dying feels like. My eyes can't focus. I can only hear his voice. He sounds so irritated. Afterwards, I hear footsteps faded down the hallway. The voice suddenly disappears. He must have jumped out the window. Afterwards, the footsteps I heard earlier stop. There's an awkward silence. Then footsteps again. I can't hear that well anymore. I don't know who's talking. I muster up all my concentration as my mind fades, but I still can't put my finger on it. All I can hear now is the sound of my breathing. My lungs must still be functioning. I hear a loud whistling sound coming from my mouth, like a passing typhoon. I sense somebody peering into my face. My breathing must be loud, as the person reaches their finger out to try and close my mouth.
やめてよね。なんだってあんたが。
Whoever it is, they grit their teeth, seeming troubled. The moment I hear that sound, the person touches me without hesitation.
破損した臓器を偽装して代用。その間に心臓一つ丸々修復か。こんなの成功したら時計塔に一発合格ってレベルじゃない。
The voice sounds distressed. But at that moment, my fading consciousness finally flickers to nothing. Sensation returns to my body. Slowly, little by little, my bodily functions return, like dewdrops trickling down to a leaf. Drip, drip. What's going on? The person hovering over me is sweating, intensely focusing on where their hands are pressed against my chest. The next thing I know, the palm over my chest grows extremely hot. It's so hot, my corpse jolts and my cold, stagnated blood starts flowing again. Phew. I sense the person take a deep breath and sit down.
疲れた。
I hear something fall.
まあ仕方ないか。ごめんなさい、父さん。あなたの娘はとんでもなく薄情者です。
That was it. The person mocks themselves and then leaves. My heart resumes beating, and then I finally pass out. But it's not an everlasting sleep I expected. I fall into slumber, bound to wake again. Ah! I wake suddenly. I feel sick and my entire body aches. Every time my heart beats, a sharp pain stabs my head. What happened? My intense headache prevents me from remembering anything. My body is cold and stiff, likely because I've been sleeping in the hallway for a long time. The only thing I can figure out is that the chest area of my uniform is torn and my blood stains on the hall floor. My head feels hazy as I get up. The spot where I'd been lying looks like a murder scene. Damn, seriously. Hi there, Slush. Was my chest stabbed? I fight down the surge of nausea as I head to the nearby classroom. Staggering, I open a closet and pull out a rag and a bucket. What the hell am I doing? I'm still confused. I encountered something unbelievable and then it murdered me. But here I am, trying to clean up after myself. How stupid can I be? Damn, it's not coming out. I wipe at the floor with the rag I found. I managed to wipe off the blood despite the incredible weakness of my whole body, then gather up everything scattered around the floor and shove it in my pockets. This may be my way of hiding any evidence. I must be doing such stupid stuff because my head's all hazy. I put the rag and bucket away, and stagger out of the school like a zombie. My body heats up with every step I take. It's so cold outside, yet my body seems to be on fire. Doing all right. By the time I reach my house, the date has changed. There's nobody in the house. Sakura and even Fujine left long ago. Thank you. I collapse on the floor. Lying on the floor is what lets me finally calm down a bit. I inhale deeply. My heart feels like it cracks every time my chest expands to draw in air. Actually, it's the opposite. It's not that my heart is cracking. The hole in my heart was just patched up, so expanding my chest opens the wound. So I really was almost killed. That's also not true. I wasn't almost killed. I was killed. But someone saved me, and now I'm alive. I wonder who it was. I really would like to thank them. If they were in the area, it means they could be involved with the people fighting. But it doesn't change the fact that they saved me, so I need to thank them properly one day. Ugh. The moment I drop my guard, the pain returns. At the same time, nausea strikes me. I sit up to hold the nausea at bay. I place my hand on my bare chest where the uniform is torn. I might have been saved, but my chest was, as a matter of fact, pierced. That feeling, the agony of the spear tip piercing my chest, isn't something I can easily forget. Damn. I'm going to have nightmares about this for a while. When I close my eyes, I feel the spear thrust again. I try to shake that delusion off and make every effort to regain my composure. Good. I'm calming down. This must be thanks to my nightly training. My thoughts clear as I take slow, deep breaths. The fever and nausea abate a bit. So about what happened. The man in blue and the man in red. They looked human, but I know they're not. They could have been ghosts of some kind. But I've never heard of ghosts having forms that allow them to interact with humans like that. And the thing was talking, which makes it a little hard to believe it was a ghost, if it had a will of its own. From what I've heard, only spirits that possess physical bodies are the elemental types. But I thought elementals did look human. Well, that's not the issue here. There's a more fundamental issue. Those two were trying to kill each other. And there was a robbery and a murder at the house nearby. Eerie stuff like that has been plaguing Fuyuki lately. With all this in mind, the only conclusion I can come to is that the situation is out of my control. If only the old man was alive right now. I guess that was kind of whiny, but I'll put it down to the patched up chest wound that still feels so raw. Idiot. I've already decided to do whatever I can, even if I don't understand what's going on. I can complain later. First of all, I need to decide whether I should get involved or not. The bell on the roof of the house rings. No matter what anyone says, this house is still a mage's house. A bounded field is set around it. And if there's ever an intruder in the area, an alarm rings. A burglar at this hour? I berate myself for my own idiocy. Of course it's not a burglar. Given the timing right after the weird incident, there's definitely an intruder. It's no burglar. It's an assassin. They're here to take a life, not property. Because that man said so himself. You saw what you saw, so you gotta die. The house is dead silent. The same murderous intent I felt at school creeps closer through the hushed darkness. I gulp. A chill prickles like needles along my spine. It's no illusion, and it's not my imagination. I know that the moment I leave this room, I'll be stabbed again. I desperately try to contain my scream. The instant I scream, the assassin will just leap right in and kill me. And that would be a repeat of what happened before. I'm not prepared, and I'm going to be impaled again. My breathing grows labored as soon as that thought crosses my mind. I'm mad. I'm mad at myself for being afraid, and I'm mad at myself for mad that I put myself in a situation where I so easily lose my life after it was saved earlier the same damn day. I grip my teeth and hold my hand tight over my wounded chest to restrain myself. I need to get used to this. This is the second time. This is the second time I'm about to die. That alone motivates me to not die so pathetically this last time. Am I not a mage after all? And if I can't even defend myself from this, what were my 8 years of training for? Fine, bring it on. I'm not going to agonize over complicated things anymore. Right now, I just need to drive away whoever's here. I need to find a weapon. I might call myself a mage, but only thing I can do is reinforce something that might work as a weapon. You need a weapon to fight, after all. Tips for good today? Great. Proud of you. There's plenty of things that might work as a weapon in the storehouse, but I'm not anywhere near there. If I leave the living room and get ambushed, it's just going to expose myself. It'll be a repeat of what happened earlier. It won't be easy, but I've got to find a weapon here. Something long and thin would be good. My opponent's weapon of choice is a spear, so a knife would be all but useless. A wooden sword would be best, but I obviously don't have one just lying around. Something around here that might be suitable as a weapon. Whoa, there's only the poster Fujine left. I can't help but feel utterly dejected. But the desperation makes me all the more determined. The situation's so bad, it can't really get any worse. Then all that's left for me to do is to move forward until I have no energy left. Trace. On. I speak my incantation and inject magical energy into a rolled up 60 meters poster. I try to imbue as much magical energy as I possibly can into the poster to solidify it, since it needs to work as a weapon to go up against the spear. Composition. Analyze. I focus my consciousness. Magical energy permeates the poster, as if I'm staining its fibers with my own blood. Composition. Reinforce. I feel that I've hit the end. Right before magical energy spreads through the poster and spills out, I say, trace off. I cut off my connection with the poster. I tremble with excitement. The poster is hard as steel, but its weight remains the same as before. It's turned out great for a hastily improvised sword. I did it. How long has it been since my strengthening magecraft succeeded? My magecraft hasn't worked ever since Kiritsugu died, and so for it to succeed at a time like this seems ironic. Either way, now I may be able to defend myself. At least I have some discipline and swordsmanship. I grip the poster with both hands and stand in the middle of the living room. If I stay here, I'm dead. But I don't think I can make it outside the mansion either. So I just need to head to the shed and make a stronger weapon there. Phew. Just as I start trying to hype myself up, every hair on my body stands on end. I'm not sure when he got in, but the guy drops from the ceiling straight toward me. What? A silvery flash strikes from my head from above. I can only assume he came through the ceiling and descends upon me, meaning to skewer my head. Why, you? I roll forward in a frantic dodge. The man lands with inhuman grace as I clumsily roll out of the way. I stop myself quickly and get to my feet, makeshift sword at the ready. The guy turns lazily, looking bored. He shifts the spear to his other hand in a slow, fluid movement. I don't know why, but he doesn't seem as aggressive as he did at the school, which might give me a chance at escaping him. He's complaining to himself, like I'm not even here. I slowly retreat back out of the room. Only 3 more meters until I reach the window. I'll run out, then it's only about 20 meters to the shed once I reach the yard. Then I should quickly... But what if I did anyway? He says it almost absent-mindedly, like it was just an afterthought. Gah! Pain shoots up my right arm. It all happened in an instant. He thrusts his spear forward, not even giving me time to react. I should have died for a second time right there. The makeshift sword in my hand spared me that fate. He probably thought he'd just been holding a rolled up paper. He struck it as if he'd been holding if I hadn't been holding anything at all, but the reinforced paper sword deflected the attack, so it only grazed my arm. His expression goes blank. His casual attitude from earlier vanishes entirely. He watches me now like a feral animal eyeing its prey. Crap. I was clearly wrong thinking things would be okay. This thing before me is some kind of demon, unbound by logic. I keenly realized that letting my guard down even for a second was beyond ludicrous. That's right. Desperate as things are, I should have just made a break for the window right after whatever miracle let me dodge his strike from above. And the end of his spear points towards me. I can't block that. There's no way I'll be able to block that swift attack. I could have at least braced myself if he had a sword, no matter how fast he might be with it. But he's holding a spear. A sword is a whole line, but a spear is only a point. How am I supposed to block a point when I can't even see how fast it moves? The man drops into a lower stance. In a flash, the spear swings in sideways. I instinctively parry the blow aimed at my face. Ugh. It's a cyclone. I'm not sure how he's moving his spear in a small room, but it traces a beautiful arc without even touching the walls. Ah! The next swing comes from the opposite side, aiming at my torso. The force of the swing bends my makeshift sword as I try to parry. Monstrous. Is that a hammer he's swinging? Damn, the numbness in my arms is telling me that it might be broken. Why, you... I instinctively swing my sword. He must be mocking me in the way he keeps flicking his spear at my sword, without drawing back at all. Numbness creeps in my arms long after going on the attack. My makeshift sword bends even more. The man's spear changes trajectory slightly. He moves like this is just a game. Such confidence. He'd been letting me take a swing at him after he took a couple shots at me. I wasted my one opportunity as nothing more than a stopgap. So he sees no point in continuing this. The man readies his spear again. Don't jump to conclusions during that microscopic opening. Say what you want, dumbass. I don't turn back to look. I just leap backwards through a window. My back shatters the window and I roll out into the yard. I roll a few times, spring upward, and... I blindly make my next move. I twist my entire body and swing behind myself. I manage to bat the man's spear aside as he hesitates for just an instant. I knew it. If I jumped out the window, he was going to have to chase after me. And he would catch up to me if I go in for the kill before I had a chance to get up. So I expected his fatal blow and swung my sword to the side with all my might. It was a risky move. He'd have killed me if I'd been even a second late. And I'd been just as dead if I was early, too. But knowing the incredible gap in our skill, I figured there was no way it could have been early. The only thing I could do was get up as quickly as I could and parry the attack I knew was coming to my back. The gamble pays off, and my swing deflects his spear. I quickly reposition my spells. Quickly reposition myself. Now I just need to run into the shed while he's still confused.
飛べ
Huh? He's not holding on to the spear anymore. He's right in front of me. He turns on the spot in the he turns on the spot in a roundhouse kick. Scenery goes flying by. My chest goes numb where he kicked me. I can't breathe. The biggest surprise? I'm actually flying through the air. I never thought a guy kicking me would send me into the air like a damn ball. Ugh! I fall hard on my back. I slam into a wall, the impact likely breaking my back, and slide down to the ground. I can't breathe. My vision blurs. By a stroke of luck, he's thrown me into the shed I wanted to reach. I lean across the wall, trying to rouse myself. I try to track the man through blurry eyes. He kicked me nearly 20 meters away. The guy picks his spear up and rushes straight at me. I'm going to die. There's nothing I can do now. He's going to reach me. And if I don't want to die, I need to get up and parry his hit. The tip of the spear surges. I can't even look back at him. My body on the verge of collapse practically greets the spear.
男だったらちゃんと立ってる
What dumb luck. My knees give out. I can't hold myself up. The spear goes over my head and violently impales the shed's heavy door, pushing it open. And this is my last chance. If only I could get inside the shed, there would be something I could use as a weapon. I crawl into the shed on all fours. Just then,
それこれでしまいだ
he launches the spear at me. Damn you! I block it. I open up the rolled poster and create a single-use shield. The impact makes a dull sound. The poster unrolled probably isn't as strong. It blocks the spear, but it tears apart, returning to a normal bit of paper. The spear's impact flings me against the wall. I fall on my butt, trying to get my heart beating again after what feels like it's trying to quit on me. The moment I raise my head to try and grab something to use as a weapon,
爪だ今のは割と驚かされたぜ坊主
the man points his spear in front of my face. I can't do anything else now. His spear is pointed directly at my heart. I know this feeling. The scent of death assailing my nostrils, reminding me of the pain I felt a few hours ago.
しかしわからねえな起点は効くくせに魔術はからっきしときた筋はいいようだがまだ若すぎたか
I don't hear the man's voice. My attention is focused on the weapon pointed at me. Obviously. The moment he thrusts, I'm dead. What else is there to think at this point?
もしやとは思うがお前が7人目だったのかもなまだとしてもこれで終わりなんだが
His arm jerks. I wasn't able to see his movements earlier, but now I see every last one in slow motion. There's a bolt of silvery light. The tip seems like it's being drawn towards my heart. Blood will gush from the wound in just a second. I know this feeling. That sensation of iron piercing my body. That taste of blood that will well up in my throat. That feeling of the world around me fading. I experienced all of it earlier today. And now I'm going to have to experience it again? Really? I don't understand. Why do I have to be the one who goes through this? This is bullshit. No, I can't die in vain in a place like this. I was saved. If I was saved, I can't just die like this. I need to live to fulfill my obligations. I won't be able to do that if I'm dead. The spear is going to impale me, though. The tip will tear through my flesh, break my ribs, and bore into my heart. I'm mad. I shouldn't be so damn easy to kill people like this. I'm going to die, and it's bullshit. I'm going to die twice in a single goddamn day. Everything is fucking bullshit. I'm going to die, and I didn't even have the opportunity to be afraid of this whole goddamn mess. No way in hell I'm not going to let myself die senselessly. To the likes of you. Is absolutely the right word for this moment. Like magic. A figure appears out of bright light shining from behind me. I can't think. All I know is that the figure is a girl. I hear a high-pitched sound, and the moment the figure appears, it pushes aside the spear pressed to my heart, and steps between me and the man without missing a beat. He tries to regain his composure after his spear is pushed aside as the girl brandishes something in her hand. Sparks fly. Hard metal clashes and sparks fly again. The man stomps his foot after blocking the woman's attack. He must have realized he's at a disadvantage because he leaps out of the storehouse with bestial agility. She must intimidate him, but she quietly turns towards me. The wind is strong today. The clouds slide away and the moon shines through the brief instant. The silver moonlight shines into the shed, illuminating the girl, who appeared as like a knight. I'm speechless. And it's not because I'm confused by all the things that just happened. The girl before me is so astonishingly beautiful that I'm at a loss for words. The girl's eyes, like precious jewels, stare at me without emotion. Her voice sounds so valiant. Master? I can only repeat her words back to her. I don't understand what she's saying, nor do I know who she is. All I know is that this slender, delicate-looking girl is similar to the man outside. She says nothing, continuing to look at me in silence. I don't know how to describe her. She's special. So special that I forget entirely about the man outside, even though he might attack again attack at any moment. Time seems to have stopped. Even the fear of death I'd felt moments ago vanishes. There's only the girl standing before me.
Saber. 召喚に従い参上した。マスター、指示を。
It's the second time she speaks. And the moment I hear the word master and the name Saber echoes in my ears. Ugh. Pain shoots through my left hand. It's hot, like being branded by an iron. I unconsciously press the back of my left hand. Taking that as a sign, the girl silently nods her beautiful head. But contract? For what? I'm still a mage in training, so I understand what those words mean. But the girl doesn't respond to my question. She simply looks away with the same grace she'd shown when she nodded. She turned toward the shed's ruined door. Outside, the man readies his spear. She moves faster than expected. The girl in knight's armor leaps out of the shed without hesitation. What? I forget about the pain I feel and get up and follow her. She can't possibly go against that guy. No matter how heavily armored she is, she's smaller than I am. Stop! The echoing clang drowns out my words. What? I can't believe what I'm seeing. My head really does go blank this time. Who the hell is she? The clash of swords echoes around me. The moon slips behind the clouds and the yard grows dark once again. And within the darkness, sparks fly as steel strikes steel. Without saying a word, the spear-wielding man meets the girl who leaped from the shed. She parries his spear and knocks away his other successive attacks, driving him back at each attack. I can't believe it. This girl, Saber, is somehow overpowering the man. The battle has begun. What happened between that man and I earlier doesn't even count as a battle. Battle? That's a fight between two people, each able to kill the other. No matter how the difference in ability, it can still be called a battle as long as both are able to kill each other. In that sense, these two are fighting a battle. The man attacks her, swinging his spear so quickly I can't even see his strikes. Somehow, she parries every attack perfectly with something she closes in on him. The man backs up slightly, checking his tongue hatefully, or clicking his tongue hatefully. He holds his spear vertically to ward off her attacks on his side. For a moment, his spear glows. His attack almost looked like it caused an explosion. The man's spear sparks as if electrified every time whatever weapon the girl is wielding strikes it. The man and I both could tell what it was. Its furious magical energy is so dense it can actually be seen. Her attacks are charged with incredible amounts of magical energy. An unbelievable amount of magical energy crackles along her opponent's weapon every time they make contact. The sheer force of her attacks must be staggering. If the man's spear strikes are precise, like a sniper rifle, her blows must be like an overpowering blast of a shotgun. Each of the girl's attacks bathes the yard in flickering light. And yet, that's not what's overpowering the man. The man curses at the girl as he evades her unrelenting attacks. She doesn't respond other than to step up her attacks with her invisible weapon. The man retreats, having hardly so much as a chance to counterattack. Her weapon is invisible. Without being able to determine the weapon's range, it would be reckless to go in for an attack. That's the trouble with invisible weapon. But she's definitely got something in her hand. I can't make out anything of its shape or length. Maybe it's transparent to begin with. No matter how many times sparks fly from it, I never get the look at the weapon's profile. Parrying her strikes must be taking a lot out of the man. His movements aren't as sharp as they had been. But it's the first sound the girl makes. She attacks all the more furiously. It's a merciless, unyielding dance of blades. The flying sparks remind me of a blacksmith striking iron. And the spear-wielding man continues defending himself as he disapprovingly clicks his tongue. Honestly, I can't help but admire the man, even though he tried to kill me. He's able to defend himself from an invisible weapon, relying on reading the girl's swings and footwork. But that's all he can do. When the opponent is still completely on defense, the only thing you need to do is beat them down. The girl steps in, closer. She smashes down, striking with all her might. Seeing his chance, the man disappears. Or rather, he retreats back as if to disappear. The girl's swing cuts through the air and smashes into the ground, kicking up dust. Her massive swing, which can seem to be a fatal blow against the corner spearman, proved easy to dodge. Fool, what the hell is she thinking? Even I could tell what happened, and even at this distance. Her careful, precise attacks earlier may have worn the man down, but the tremendous swing meant to deal a finishing blow would never touch him. The relentless attacks must have put incredible strain on the man's body as he tried to defend himself. Yet he suppressed all the pain for the single moment to jump away. He knew that her last attack would determine the victor. The man jumps back several meters and comes into strike range once again the moment his feet touch the ground. He jumps in a triangular pattern to leap towards the girl as if revisiting his steps. The girl's sword is embedded in the ground. It's a fatal opening. The red spear returns in less than a second. The girl twists her body around like a top, while her sword is still embedded in the ground. The whole thing happens in a matter of seconds. The man sees his mistake and tries to correct, as the girl uses this brief moment to use her whole body to attack. Both the man and the girl seem unsatisfied, though. Both struck intending to kill. Both survived, so everything leading to this moment was in vain. The two open a bit of distance between themselves. They both just quietly stare at each other. The strain the battle inflicted on them seems to be too much.
どうしたランサー止まっていては僧兵の名が泣こうそちらが来ないのなら私が行くが
わざわざ死にに来るかそれは構わんがその前に一つだけ聞かせろ貴様の宝具それは剣か
He phrases his question so bluntly. He glares as if he's trying to look through her.
さあどうかな旋風かもしれぬし双剣かもしれんいやもしや弓かもしれんぞランサー
抜かせセイバー
Somehow this conversation seems to be amusing him. The man called Lancer briefly lowers his spear. It looks as if he's saying he doesn't want to fight anymore. The girl seems puzzled by Lancer's move, but I know what his stance means. I remember the fight at school a few hours ago. It's a killer move that was supposed to have ended the battle.
ついでにもう一つ聞くがなお互い初見だしよここらで分けって気はないか悪い話じゃないだろそらあそこでほうけているお前のマスターは使い物にならんし俺のマスターとて姿を晒せねえ大ふぬけときたここはお互い万全の状態になるまで勝負を持ち越した方が好ましいんだが
断るあなたはここで倒れろランサー
そうかよたくこっちはもともと様子見が目的だったんだぜサーバントが出たとあっちゃ長居する気はなかったんだが
The air wavers. Their surrounding appears to distort. Lancer lowers his stance. A chill creeps into the air. The same thing happened earlier. Magical energy rumbles as it forms a vortex at the tip of the spear. The girl raises her weapon and glares at her enemy. I don't need to speak up. She knows very well how dangerous the enemy is. She is the one confronting him.
じゃあな、その心臓もらい受ける。
The beast kicks the ground. Lancer appears in front of the girl so quickly he may as well have teleported. He takes his spear and aims at her feet. Even to me, that seems like a poor choice. I can't see a way to an attack would be effective with a spear pointed at the ground in front of her feet. Apparently thinking the same thing, the girl leaps over the spear towards Lancer, intent to strike him down. But at that moment, His words alone radiate immense magical energy. The spear releases from below, angles towards the girl's heart. Her body hangs in the air. The blow sends her flying in a wide arc. She smashes heavily into the ground. She's bleeding. She had been unscathed until now, but her heart is pierced and she is bleeding profusely. I'm just as bewildered. But watching from afar may have given me a better perspective on how bizarre the attack was. The spear had been aimed at her feet, I'm sure of that. But then it just changed direction, moving and stretching impossibly to pierce the girl's heart. And yet, the spear itself neither stretched nor changed direction. It seemed bizarrely as if the spear had been thrust into her chest from the beginning, almost naturally. It wasn't as simple as the spear changing its trajectory and piercing the heart. The spear didn't change course, it altered truth itself to make that happen. The moment he spoke those words and released his spear, the intent of piercing her heart had been realized. Essentially, his attacks reversed cause and effect. The result of the attack piercing the victim's heart was predetermined, so the spear's trajectory is merely an afterthought to establish the facts. It's a demonic splinter that breaks through all defenses. The moment it determines the target, the spear pierces the heart every time it's used, without exception. How can anyone defend against such a completely insane attack? No matter what effort the target makes to evade, the spear will always pierce their heart, which makes it fatal. An accursed spear that always pierces the opponent when used. However, the girl evades by a hairbreadth. The spear did penetrate her, but it didn't hit anything vital. Her actions in evading the spear seemed to be more impossible than the spear itself. The moment the spear was thrust, the girl turned and reversed direction with an incredible effort of will and strength, as if she knew what was going to happen. She was either incredibly lucky, or had just enough protection to dampen the spear's curse. Whatever it is, the girl managed to avoid a fatal blow, so survives Lancer's ultimate attack. The girl tries to get her labored breathing under control. Although she had been losing a lot of it, blood seeping from her wound, and even the wound itself is closing it up. So this is what truly extraordinary piercing can do. I knew she wasn't normal, but she's more than outstanding. In terms of her skills in a fight against Lancer, in terms of the incredible amount of magical energy loose for every attack, her body recovering on its own, she is obviously superior to Lancer. But that's only up until now. She may be healing even now, but her wounds are deep. If Lancer attacks now, she won't be able to defend herself. And yet, even though he's at an overwhelming advantage, Lancer doesn't move. He audibly grinds his teeth, and he glares at the girl. His voice seems to rumble up from the ground itself. Lancer's expression darkens. His hostility dissipates, and he clicks his tongue in annoyance. The oppressive mood lightens. Lancer no longer seems to have any intent of attacking the wounded girl. He turns his back as he walks to the corner of the yard.
どちらかが消えるまでやり合うのがサーバントのセオリーだが、あいにくうちの雇い主は臆病者でな。槍が交わされたのなら帰ってこいなんて抜かしやがる。逃げるのか、ランサー。ああ、追ってくるのなら構わんぞセイバー。 ただしその時は決死の覚悟を抱いてこい。
He lightly bounces off the ground. It's a wonder how agile he can be, but Lancer jumps effortlessly over the fence and disappears before anyone can stop him.
待てランサー。
The injured young girl turns and starts running in pursuit. You've got to be kidding me. I cross the yard as fast as I can. If I don't stop her, she'll go after him and maybe get herself killed. It turns out I don't need to chase after her. She tries to jump over the wall, but the moment she crouches to jump, she doubles over and grabs her chest. I hurry over to check on her. Well, I intended to just approach and call out to her, but that went right out the window the moment I got near her. She is completely unbelievable. The shining silver armor she wears looks extremely heavy. The clothing she's wearing is dated as it is bright and vivid blue. I've never seen anything like it. No, her clothes were not what really enthralls me. She's absolutely beautiful. Her golden hair, illuminated by the moonlight, is extremely fine as spun gold. Her face is graceful with a trace of innocence, and her smooth white skin is all but glows in the moonlight. I'm speechless. Her beauty completely takes my breath away. How did this happen? Seeing a girl wounded in the fight made me absolutely furious. As I stand there gawking, the girl remains silent, her hand clamped over her chest. I manage to quit staring pretty quickly. She lifts her head and lets her hand fall from her chest, her pain seeming to have eased. She looks directly at me. I don't know quite how to respond to that gaze, but I notice something. Her wound's gone? The spear missed her heart, but it did pierce her chest, yet there's no outward sign of a wound. I've heard there were kinds of healing magecraft, but she didn't seem to use anything like that. That must mean she can heal herself no matter how wounded she is. My mind switches gears. I shouldn't be gawking at her. This girl is unbelievable, and I absolutely should not let my guard down around her until I know who she is and what's going on. Who the hell are you? I take half a step back as I ask the question. What do you mean? Oh, there we go.
Saber のサーバントです。あなたが私を呼び出したのですから、確認をするまでもないでしょう。
Saber? Servant?
はい。ですから私のことはセーバーと。
She says it so casually. There's a touch of contempt in her tone, but it remains mostly gentle. And hearing her voice makes my head go blank. What? Why the hell am I getting agitated? I see. That's a weird name. I cover my burning face with my hand and respond stupidly. But I honestly don't know what else to say. Besides, how else would she respond when I just ask her what the hell she is, and it'd be rude for me to not respond. I'm Shiro. My name is Shiro Emiya, and I live here. There's something wrong with me. I'm saying the dumbest things. But well, she did give me her name. It's only polite that I give mine. I know I'm confused, but it's still important to remain rational no matter who I'm dealing with. The girl, Saber, just keeps watching me in my confusion. She moves not an inch. Forget all that. It's not what I was asking. It's that...
分かっています。あなたは正規のマスターではないのですね。
Eh?
しかし、それでもあなたは私のマスターです。契約を交わした以上、あなたを裏切りはしない。そのように警戒する必要はありません。
Crap. I hear her, but I couldn't be more lost. The only thing standing out to me is that she keeps referring to me as Master. You've got it wrong. My name's not Master.
それでは素人。ええ、私としてはこの発音の方が好ましい。
The moment she said my name, I thought my face might actually burst in flames. Isn't it a bit more normal to call someone by their last name when you first meet? Wait, why would you choose to address me that? Ouch. A strange sensation tinkles through my left hand. It's hot. The back of my hand is burning. The strange pattern appears on the back of my left hand like a tattoo. What?
それは霊樹と呼ばれるものです、シロ。私たちサーバントを律する3つの命令権であり、マスターとしての命でもある。むやみな使用は避けるように。
On you?
シロ、傷の治療を。
Her tone is cold now. It seems she's not focused on me, but something elsewhere. Wait, are you asking me? Sorry, but I don't know how to use complicated magecraft like that. And you're already healed anyway. Saber frowns. I feel like I've said something that disappoints her.
ではこのままで臨みます。自動修復は外面を覆っただけですが、あと一度の戦闘ならば支障はないでしょう。
One more battle? What do you mean?
外の敵は2人。この程度の重圧なら数秒で倒し得る相手です。
Saber leaps over the wall effortlessly. Just like Lancer, she makes it look easy. And now I'm alone in the yard. Enemies outside. I realize what she means as soon as she says it. As soon as I say it. Wait, are you going to keep fighting? I move without thinking. I run as fast as I can towards the gate. I reach the gate, unlock it with trembling fingers, and jump out. Saber, are you here? I strain to see in the darkness. Clouds have completely obscured the moon and leaving it pitch dark. Now of all times. But I hear something nearby. There. I run to an empty pathway. It happens all in an instant. I see a familiar man in red and Saber fighting. Saber rushes him and breaks through his guard in a single sweep. She easily cuts the man in red. Saber raises her arm ready to... But before she's able to take his head, incredibly powerful magecraft causes him to vanish. Saber doesn't stop. She dashes right at the person standing behind the man in red. And effortlessly negates the potent magecraft they unleashed. What? I knew she was strong, but this is just unreal. That was sort of an intervention magecraft way beyond anything I'm capable of. My old man might have been able to cast something with a bit of weight to it, but I'm not even sure even a first-rate mage could cast something so powerful at the drop of a hat like that. Even so, Saber nullifies the magecraft as if it were nothing. The enemy must be a mage, which means the match's outcome is decided. The mage's attack doesn't work on Saber, and Saber drives at them mercilessly. The mage falls backwards with a thud. The enemy miraculously dodges Saber's attacks, but they can't move anymore. Saber corners the enemy and levels her visible sword at them. My mind freezes. Maybe it's a momentary glimmer of the moonlight, but I see then that Saber is attacking a human. I can't tell who it is specifically, but the image of Saber killing someone, their blood staining her hands, suddenly fills my mind. Saber moves in. She's going to slit open their throat with the invisible sword. Saber, stop! I scream as loud as I can. Her blade stops cold. It's probably best for my sanity that I can't see her sword. But the tip of that invisible sword isn't wet with her opponent's blood just yet. Stop, I beg you, Saber. I glare at her as we speak. If I'm going to help her, I need to prepare myself to give everything I've got to do so.
なぜ止めるのです、シロ。彼女はアーチャーのマスターです。ここで仕留めておかなければ。
No, Saber has absolutely no intention of stopping. She only stopped because I told her to, but she still holds a sword at her ready. I'm telling you, wait. You keep calling me master, but I still don't understand what's going on. If you're going to address me that way, then wouldn't it be right to explain yourself first? Saber doesn't answer. She just stands there staring at me. We're going about this wrong, Saber. I don't even know who you are, but I'll listen if you tell me, so please don't do this. Saber is silent. She still holds her sword at her opponent and glares at me. Her lips downturn in dissatisfaction.
そんなこととはどのようなことか。あなたはむやみに人を傷つけるな、などという理想論を挙げるのですか。
Eh? Don't needlessly harm another? Well, yeah, it's better to avoid conflict as much as possible. But I'm not so soft-hearted as to feel sorry for someone who's attacking me.
つまりあなたは敵であれ命を絶つなと言いたいのでしょう。そのような言葉には従いません。敵は倒すものです。それでもやめろというのであれば、令状を持って私を律しなさい。
I'm talking about you. A girl shouldn't go swinging swords around, especially if she's already hurt. Oh, wait. I don't even know if that sword's a sword to begin with. Anyway, you shouldn't be doing this. In that moment, Saber's mouth falls open in stunned silence. I don't know how much time passes with her just standing there like that.
で、いつになったら剣を下げてくれるのかしらね、セイバーさんは。
The person who'd fallen to the ground speaks up out of nowhere. Saber instinctively grips her sword.
諦めなさい。敵を前にして下げる剣はありません。
あなたのマスターは下げろって言ってるのに。へえ、セイバーともあろうサーバントが主に逆らうって言うんだ。
Saber grits her teeth. But she lowers her sword, loosening her grip a bit. She must have put her sword away or something, because she seems suddenly much less hostile.
さ、なら立ってもいいのよね、私。
Whoever it was that's been on the ground finally stands. They act brazen as they pat the dirt from their bottom. Wait a minute. That's... You're Tosaka.
ええ。こんばんは、エミヤ君。
Rin Tosaka replies with the biggest smile on her face. This is unbelievable. I don't know how to think anymore. The way she greets me so casually makes me question whether everything that happened was even real. Well, so you the one who cast that magecraft earlier? Which makes you...
魔術師ってことでしょ。ま、お互い似たようなもんだし、隠す必要もないわよね。
Hearing her be so blunt about it makes me seem like an idiot here.
いいから話は中でしましょう。どうせ何も分かってないんでしょ、エミヤ君は。
As she says that, she walks towards the entrance to my house. Wait, Tosaka, what the hell are you thinking? At that moment, when Tosaka turns around, her smile has changed into something completely different.
バカね、いろいろ考えてるわよ。だから話をしようって言ってるんじゃない。エミヤ君、突然の事態に驚くのもいいけど、素直に認めないと命取りって時もあるのよ。ちなみに今がその時だと分かって。
She glares at me, and I can see actual animosity in her eyes.
分かればよろしい。それじゃあ行こっか、エミヤ君のお家にね。
Tosaka walks through the gate. She seems really pissed. Well, I don't blame her. Just a moment ago, she had a sword pointed at her and she was about to die. But still, maybe it's my imagination, but I think Tosaka at school and the one I see right now are completely different people. And this is just weird as hell. Rin Tosaka, the most popular girl in school, the girl I admire, is walking in front of me, while a blonde girl named Saber, who calls herself a servant, is silently following behind me. The hallway feels like it's in a different dimension. But I can't stay in a coward forever. I may still be in training, but I'm still a mage. Tosaka, who is apparently a fellow mage, is as bold as brass, so I have to hold my ground too, or else I'll look stupid. Though I can't really think of anything that all that significant here. Like Saber still following me. She keeps calling me master, and we formed some sort of contract, which probably makes her a kind of familiar. I've heard a familiar is an assistant mages use. Most mages transfer a part of own body to something else, then use it as their double. But typically, they're small animals. Things like cats and dogs are easier to control. Some mages do use humans, but to do that, they need an incredible amount of magical energy to constantly feed into the human to control them. Doing that will require a mage to use over half of their own magical energy just to sustain the familiar, though. It's not exactly efficient. Familiars are supposed to be tools to help mages, which is why they usually use small animals who can be controlled with minimal effort, and so they aren't a burden. At least, that's what I was taught. No, nothing. Saber obviously looks human, but she's clearly superior to her master. That is, me. I don't have enough magical energy to restrain someone, let alone the magic circuits to control familiars in the first place. Which means Saber is nothing like a familiar. She called herself a servant. I don't know what she is, but the man named Lancer and the man in red Tosaka has in tow are probably all the same. Which means Tosaka can also be called a master. I've already seen enough of her magecraft skills. I'm less than a fledgling, but based on what I've seen, Tosaka is probably worth 3 mages. Although there's really not much sense comparing any mage to someone like me, who can only do strengthening. What's clear is that Rin Tosaka is an exceptional mage. In spiritually strong lands, there are mage family lines which oversee a giffen area. The Emiya family came during Kiritsugu's generation, so our family is essentially outsiders. That's why I didn't know Tosaka came from a family of mages, and I don't think Tosaka knew I came from one either. There are several mages in this town that I don't know about. If that Lancer guy is another mage's familiar too, that means I've gotten myself in the middle of some sort of fight between mages. I should really just stop thinking for now. Now's the time to pay attention for what Tosaka has to say. I turn on the lights. It's already past 1 in the morning. No shit. That's not my fault. That Lancer guy attacked me. I didn't really have time to worry about windows. That was the idea. I'd say I was more of a punching bag than an opponent, really. I don't know what's so amusing to her, but Tosaka walks over to the broken window. Tosaka picks up a broken piece of glass. She stares at it for a second. She cuts her fingertip to let a single drop of blood fall onto the window. What kind of magecraft is that? The shattered window begins to reassemble itself, returning to its original undamaged state in mere seconds. Tosaka, what did you just do? She says all of this like it's a normal thing. Her skills are just beyond my comprehension. That's amazing, Tosaka. I can't do anything like that, so I appreciate you fixing it. Is it now? I only know what my old man taught me, so I don't really know what you'd consider the basics. Tosaka stops abruptly. Crap, sounds like I said something I shouldn't have.
自分の工房の管理もできない半人前ってこと？
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Huh? I don't have a workshop. Well, actually, I have a shed I use for training, but I think calling it a workshop would just make Tasaka angrier.
まさかとは思うけど確認しとく。もしかしてあなた5大要素の扱いとかパスの作り方も知らない？
Oh, what? I just nod. Well, that's terrifying. Beautiful as she is, she gets intense when she goes quiet.
何？じゃああなた素人？
Not exactly, no. I can at least do some strengthening magecraft.
強化ってまたなんとも半端なのを使うのね。で、それ以外は空っぴしってわけ？
Tasaka just stares at me. Honestly, probably not. Her stare is so intense I can't help but be vague in my answer.
なんだってこんなやつにセイバーが呼び出されるのよ。まったく。
She sighs, disappointed. I don't much care for that. It's not like I've been playing around here. Sure, I'm not a full-fledged mage, but it's not the issue here.
まあいいわ。もう決まったことに不平をこぼしても始まらない。そんなことより今は借りを返さないと。
Tasaka takes a breath.
それじゃあ話を始めるけど、エミヤくん、自分がどんな立場にあるのか分かってないでしょ。
Alright. And with that, I think we can go ahead and stop it there. Because I am getting tired. And, like, I've been at this for 4 hours almost. So anyway, we will continue on another time, I promise. But for now, everybody have a good evening, good night, all that fun stuff. I will see you all next time. Greatly appreciate it if you stuck around. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.